Folks, welcome back to Nostalgianomics. I was told that I blew a lot of people's eardrums out with my 4th of July video, and so I'm trying to be a lot quieter in this one. So we're going to treat this more like a DJ, just barely talking in the microphone. I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that all stream. I think I got the microphone fixed. You guys can let me know. I think the setting was just off with Streamyard or something. And that's why it was sounding so funny on that last video and had a weird tingy sound. And I don't know what was wrong with it, but I think I got it figured out. Let me know if it's all sounding good. But what is happening? How's everyone doing? Marco, what's up? What's good? Zens, thanks for being here. We've got Leaf Green Goblin, as always. Willpower PCs, what's up, man? And Kurt is in here. How's it going? It's going good, Kurt. I'm going to give it a few minutes for everyone to pour in, but basically today's video, I just want to give everyone kind of an idea of what's out there. And I just pulled, a bunch of examples up. There's obviously way more opportunities out there than what I'm going to show, but I just wanted to pull some obvious ones out and then explain, how to find them. And that way everyone can kind of do the same thing for themselves. And then you can kind of dig through and sift through, the cards, the products, and you can find the same exact plays for yourself. It's a pretty straightforward way to kind of go about this. And if you do it the right way, I hesitate to say guarantee, right? Because anything can happen with the fluctuations of the market. However, saying that the market stayed the same in the 2-3 months that it took for you to get your cards back from grading or whatever it may be, it's relatively risk-off. It's relatively risk-free if you find the items and you source them the right way. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes before I really get into it and give people time to kind of rush in. But everyone have a good 4th of July? Any crazy stories? Any good questions you want me to cover before I really get into that kind of the meat and potatoes of the live stream? And the reason I'm having a live stream today, I know it wasn't scheduled or anything, but I sat down to make this video this morning, and I just figured it was going to take a lot more than like a 10-15 minute video to kind of get through everything I wanted to get through. And so I figured I'd just make it a live, because when I make videos that are like 20, 30, 40 minutes long or more, they don't really do too well. I feel like the live streams do a little better than that. So, it's all about just getting the info out to as many people as possible. So I just felt like this was the best way. But we got Nick in here. What's going on? J Loading, Zuda, what's going on? All right, Zenz has a question. Walmart has Scarlet Violet base set booster boxes for $89.91. Do you think that's a good price, or can we expect them to drop even more? Walmart, I guess you're talking about Walmart.com, because Walmart itself, the store, doesn't sell booster boxes, so it's probably an independent seller selling through Walmart. Yeah, it's a great price. Will it go even lower? I don't have a crystal ball, but anytime, I'm just going to say this, depending on your time frame, if you're investing, right, if you have an investing mindset and you're looking out, 2, 3, 4 years, anytime you can get in under distribution cost, it's a good buy, in my opinion. So that's well under what distributors are charging stores. So in my opinion, that's a great buy. Now, will it go lower? I don't know the fluctuations of the market. How long will it take to rise? I don't know that either, but there's never been a Pokemon booster box, no matter how bad the set is, not rise over time. Even non-booster boxes. I was talking about someone this morning. Even Detective Pikachu is rising now. Detective Pikachu. That's if that can rise, anything can rise. What do we got? Metasand, spend money to make money. Absolutely. E-Unit, what's up? Daniel's in here. Market. We got the Market Scrapper. I like it. Andrew's in here. What's up? SDC, how's it going, man? Let's see. Daniel says, hey, Alex, just want to get your thoughts on the recent sale of the Evolving Skies 3-pack blister, all Umbreon art. The recent sale? I must have missed it. You have to fill me in on that one. Sold for $665? What? Blister case? Are we talking about a blister case? I don't know what you're talking about there. Mr. Walrus, what are we mad about now? Anything and everything, my man. We're always mad about something in this community, aren't we? Her Herblore? Looks like it's sold, Burning Tree Gaming, and fulfilled by Walmart. Okay, yeah, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I'm sure Walmart's policy, it's if it's not like, legitimate and it's not an actual product, you can always send it back, I'm sure. But yeah, if it's real, $89, that's a good price in my opinion. Again, don't know if it's going to go lower. Don't know how long it's going to take to rise. But every booster box has always risen. All right, I'm going to jump into this, guys. So we got enough people in here now. So basically the whole point of this live is there's a lot of different routes you can go in this hobby, right? And obviously for me, I'm always going to err on the side of sealed product. However, there's a whole other side to this hobby, and that's basically the singles, the grading. And for anyone who doesn't, isn't really in that spot in their life yet, or, needs to kind of make an income, or at least needs to fund their collection with the buying and selling of other items, which is exactly how I did it when I got back in the hobby. So I can't sit here and act like I don't agree with that, because that's exactly what I did. I mean, my whole entire first few years in the hobby was all buying and selling to fund my collection pieces or my investments for free. And so the best way to do that is find, I hesitate to say guarantee. I never want to say guaranteed, but find very high percentage plays to where you very, very small possibility that you can lose. If you follow these simple steps, it's very hard to ever lose. So what I'm going to show you, some examples, and then that will give you an idea of how to search for these yourself. I'm not saying I'll go run out and buy these. I'm not trying to pump these cards. I don't have large positions in these cards or anything. It's just trying to get the information out there and how to go about this. I know a lot of people that watch this channel, they're newer to the hobby, new to collecting, new to grading in general. Some of you maybe have never even graded cards before. Now, other people in here, this might be elementary. This might be like, I don't need to listen to this. Alex, you're telling me something I already know. And that's great too. This might not be for everyone, but I think it will help a lot of people out. So let's jump right into it. Here we go. Wait a second. Okay. All right. So whenever you're looking to grade a card, you want it to be as high percentage of play as possible. And what I mean by that is a 10 is basically a home run. A 10 is, you don't want to think about a 10, right? You want to think about the 9. You want to think about your risk. You don't always want to think about the reward first. So your risk always needs to be, what can I source this card for? How much is the grading and shipping? And then if I get a 9, because you can't guarantee a 10, if I get a 9, what's that card going for in the market? And now, obviously, things can shift in the market over the course of 2-3 months. That's why I say it's not a guaranteed play. If you could guarantee the market price was going to stay the same for the next 2 to 3 months while PSA grades your cards, we could say these are guaranteed plays. So I'm going to show you some examples first of plays that aren't guaranteed plays. And I'm going to show you a few at the end that are guaranteed. Now, there's a lot of people in this hobby that do very high volume, and they're okay taking these kind of plays that are less guaranteed because they're going for that 10. So there's people that will buy, 50, 100 cards. They'll get them all in. They'll inspect them all themselves. They'll grade the ones they think they're going to get a 10, and they'll flip the other ones back on the market raw, eat the grading and shipping, charges, because they know the 10s are going to make them their profits. And they try to rinse and repeat that a bunch of times, and they eventually make money over time. However, for anyone who isn't high volume like that, especially someone like me who doesn't want to sift through that many, I tend to gravitate to more of the high percentage plays. So here's kind of what I'm saying. So I took a bunch of different sets. Here's like the Chonkachu, right? The Pikachu Rainbow Rare from Vivid Voltage. All right. So when you look down, you can see it's selling in the $125 range. Okay. And then you can go look on eBay and see what's a 9 going for. Well, right about that same price. So you automatically know, well, if I grade it, that's $15 plus shipping, other stuff. I'm going to be in this card more than it's selling for with a grade. And so it's not really worth it for me to grade that. Now, other people might say, well, hey, the PSA 10 is going for X amount. It's worth it for me to take that risk, because if it gets a 10, I'm going to make exponential my money. But if it gets a 9, well, I'll just eat those little bit of losses that I'm getting, and I'll rinse and repeat. And you can do that too. It's just, for me, this isn't high percentage enough for me. Here's another example. The Moonbryon. The Moonbryon, in my opinion, it's not a good play to make, because here it is. You near mint, it's selling for $600, right? $600. But in a 9, they're only selling for $600. $620, I mean, here's a 750. I don't know. I mean, it says it's sold. I don't know, because all the other ones are selling for like 530, 600. They're all going under that. So could be a real sale, might not be. Crazy stuff happens on the market. That's why there is no exact market price. But realistically, you're looking to get around 600. So if you're paying 600, you're getting 615, 620. it doesn't really make sense to grade it, in my opinion, unless you're just really chasing that 10 and you're okay breaking even or taking a loss or a small loss and just trying to getting back on the horse and riding again. Blaziken from Chilling Reign, same type of situation. Near mint, you can buy it. It's going for the about $180, about $180 near mint. And then if you go look at what it's going for in a 9, right about the same price, right? $15 grading fee. In my opinion, it's not worth it to take that chance unless you're really just going to go and chase the 10. I just got a couple more. Just stay with me. You can go look at like the Giratina. So we got the Galarian Gallery Giratina from Crown Zenith. Same type of situation here. Look, it's going for the lowest one in the market's like $85, selling for in the mid to high 80s. And then you go look what it's going for graded, $100. So $15 grading fee. You just basically break even. Why not just sell it raw, right? Then you can go look at like the Charizard from Brilliant Stars. Near mint, just sold for $152. Then you go and look at what it's going for graded, $145. This one's got like a bad picture. That's why it's going for less. But otherwise, they're like $135 on the market. Again, $145, not really worth it after the $15 grading fee. And then last up, this one, I know Dan, Catch 'em All Collectibles, he made this play because, again, he's a high volume. He takes risks. For me, I'm looking at this. I wouldn't take this play. That's just me. So if I'm looking at this and I see, okay, it's going for in the 80s, right? It's 79 plus shipping. This is going for the low 80s, right? The Celebration Charizard. Then you look at eBay, for a 9, it's going for $100. Let's see, 86 plus shipping. So it's a very low percentage play. I mean, if you get a 9, you're not really making any money. If not losing money, your only play is the 10. So I'm sure at this point you're asking, well, Alex, then what are there plays out there? Of course. It just takes shifting through the market and finding them. Here's the first one I'm going to show you. Okay, now this is going to be a risky one right now. I probably wouldn't recommend it. I just wanted to show you where the market's at right now for it. Because the reason I say I don't recommend it is because Lost Origin, we're told the reprint's coming. Don't know how big the reprint's going to be. Don't know when it's going to get here. But we're told it's coming. So we could see massive drops in Lost Origin boxes and cards. But for right now, I want to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the rarest card in the set, the Giratina V. Okay, it's the alt art. You're going to see right here. You can pick this card up right now, okay, for $280 to $290s. $280, $295, somewhere in there, right? You're seeing them sell $290, $275. That's where they're selling for, okay? When you go and look at what a 9's going for, $315, $345, $355. So, even if you miss your 10, you have built-in profit. You get the card for $370 to $380, put 15 in it. You're only in it $395, $400, $295, $300, and now you have a guaranteed, $25 to $45 already worked in the card, even if you miss your 10. Now, if you get the 10, obviously it's like every other card. There's massive multiples attached to it. It goes in like almost $800. So you hit a home run. Now, what I mean, why is this high percentage? Well, right here. Here's the pop report on the Giratina, okay? Oh, this is the Lugia, my bad. I don't have it pulled up for the Giratina, do I? Ooh. All right, give me 1 second. Hold tight. We're going to do this. We're going to find it live. Let me duplicate this. Hold with me. So if anyone doesn't know what I'm doing here, this is PSA's website, just psacard.com. You can go look up the population of any card you want, of any set in Pokemon, and they'll give you the exact amount graded, which amount graded 10s, 9s, etc. And it's the best way to get an idea of the supply that's out there. So get this up real quick. Giratina is number 186. Let's go scroll down and find it real quick. Okay. So here you go. You got the full art Giratina V. Look over here. There's 3,654 total graded, 1,700 10s, 1,482 9s. Only 300 8s, 58, 7s, and so on. So 90% of those cards grade a 9 or a 10. This is where the high percentage play comes into account. You have a 90% chance of sending in a mint card that it's going to grade a 9 or a 10. Meaning, when you go source a card off the market, you have a 90% chance that you're going to have a $325 to $350 card when you're only sourcing it for about $280 to $290. It's a high percentage play. Now, if you hit the home run, you get the 10, well, that's when you make those 2x, 3x multiples. Those are the home runs. But we don't like to play for home runs when we, make plays or invest, we like to hit doubles, singles, doubles, maybe a few triples here and there. It's nice to have a home run, but when you know you have a guaranteed profit locked in for a 9, it makes this play a lot easier to take than trying to gamble on possibly losing money on a 9 or just breaking even, doing all this work and taking all this time. So that's why I like plays like this. Now, another one, you already blew it, but you already saw it. It's the Lugia. So the Lugia V from Silver Tempest, okay, again, could get a reprint. Don't know how that's going to go. But it's only going in the 140s right now. There's one for $139.99 plus shipping, $143 plus shipping. It's a $145 card market price for near mint. However, PSA 9, it's going for in the 190s. $197.99, $183.50. So basically you have a $145 card or less. Spend $15 to grade it. Now it's $160. You have a $30 plus profit already worked in a 9. And like I was showing before, it's the same story. Lugia V, 3,880 graded, 6,000 graded, 3,880 were 10s, 1,981 were 9s. 90% of those cards all graded mint or gem mint. You have a very low probability of getting a lesser grade unless you really don't know what you're looking for when you send a card in. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to grade a 9 or a 10 if you send in one of these mint cards at PSA. So you have a 90% chance of sending in that card and getting a $190+ card out of it. And then if you do hit the home run, well, there you go. $350 card, $360 card, home run. That's always there for you. Last one I brought up, it's honestly, this is the best one I've seen multiple wise for a while. It's going to be the Miriam, okay? Scarlet Violet base, right? Lackluster set. The boxes are absolutely tanking. We just had someone in the chat talk about how they can find them on Walmart.com for like $89. Very cheap box, right? Miriam, it's going for $50, right? $50, $51, $52 near mint. All right. In a 9, this card goes for $90. $90. Buy it for $50, grade it for $15. You're in at $65. $25 already built in the price on a brand new card. Look at the pop report on Miriam right here. There's already 1,400 graded. 600 were 10s. 600 were 9s. 90%. 90% of everything graded, again, is coming back 9 or a 10. Very high percentage to get a 9 or a 10. Now, here's the greatest part with Miriam. If you do hit that 10, which is actually, again, almost as likely as a 9, you hit the jackpot. 230s, 275, 207, 290, 250. So basically it's going for in the low to mid 200s for a $50 card. So you're going to 4x your money hitting that 10, or at very worst, you make 50% on your money after grading fees on the 9. And you got a 90% chance of hitting a 9 or a 10. It's basically an infinite money glitch in Pokemon. And these are just 3 examples I pulled out for this video. You can dive into these sets and find this again and again and again and again. You can take the risk out of it. You don't have to risk getting a 10. You don't have to, break even or lose money on the 9. A lot of the cards, if you kind of go back as far back as you go, you can go back into other early Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon, XY. A lot of the times the 9s don't get your money back. You're really banking on that 10. In this way, if you can find these cards where the market's kind of out of whack and the 9s are valued high, even though they're easy to get, even though the pop reports are higher, it's a way to get that guaranteed profit built in. Like I said, as long as the market doesn't majorly shift in the 2 to 3 months when you're not in it. Now, everyone's asking, once they ask then, it's like, well, so Alex, are you like all into PSA? No, I'm not saying I'm all into the whole PSA grading, all this stuff. However, I have a lot of questions asked me about this type of stuff because a lot of people, one, they don't have the income from their career, whatever their job right now, to be able to invest large amounts of money and let it sit for 2, 3, 4 years, right? They don't have that opportunity. They can't buy cases among cases of product. And so people are always asking me, well, what's the best way to make money now? Well, here it is. This is the best way to make money right now. If you need to make a guaranteed gain right now, this is it. This is it. Find high percentage plays where it's very easy to get a 9 and a 10 in PSA. Find cards that you can source near mint to where after the grading fees, you get them back, that the 9 is going to return you money and the 10 is going to be a home run. And you can rinse and repeat this process again and again and again. And as you build up those profits, you can put them into sealed product and put them away and let those profits rise over time. Because these plays disappear. These plays disappear every day, left and right. I mean, there'll be a time when all three of these cards I'm showing you right now, this won't work anymore. The 9s will eventually offset, and you won't be able to get in those 9s for what a near mint copy will go for, and you'll have to find new cards to do this with. So the singles, the PSA market is constantly changing. You got to get ahead of the game. You got to, usually just play with volume to make a good amount of money. But this is the route you want to take if you are looking to make those quick flips, those gains. Because I get it. I get sealed product investing isn't for everyone. I understand I'm a more pro sealed investing channel. The reason is because it works 100% of the time. It works 100% of the time. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care about your opinions. The facts don't care about your feelings, right? They don't care. Every single booster box in Pokemon's history has risen over time. That amount of time, I don't know. Sometimes it's 6 months. Sometimes it's 2 months. Sometimes a year. Sometimes it's 5 years. Sometimes it's more. Sometimes it's less. The fact of the matter is, even the worst sets in Pokemon rise over time. That's why I'm so bullish on the sealed booster box investing. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's got so many more factors going for it than cards do, right? Because cards populations are always going up. Pokemon's constantly making new art that overshadows the old art, and there's however many hits in a set, but there's only one sealed box in a set, right? So there might be, you look at Evolving Skies, there's a list of 20, 30 cards that people actually want, like hits that people actually want in their collection, that they all have to compete against each other. All those cards have to compete against each other's dollars. But for sealed collectors, one box. There's one box. There's 12 sets an era? There's 12 boxes per era that are competing against dollars for sealed collectors. So there's a less competition. There's less every day. Every day more is opened. Every day more disappears from the market. So there's less quantity every day. I've talked about it before with market caps, right? For PSA cards to rise in value, you have to constantly have more money pouring into that card for the market cap to rise, because the supply is always rising, right? Every time the supply goes up, inherently the market cap has to go up just to keep the price the same. However, with boxes, no new money has to come into that set for the market cap because the market cap's falling. Every box that opens, the market cap goes down because there's less in the market. So realistically, the price of the box could climb as the supply falls, and the market cap never changes. So that's why you see sealed product rise. You don't need new money to constantly pour into it to jack the prices up the way you do PSA cards. So that's why I'm always more bullish on those. However, there's way more opportunity in the short term for PSA cards, for grading singles. That's where your bread and butter is going to be. Let me check the chat. I'm sure I'm getting all kind of crazy stuff get blown up from all the stuff I've been saying. So let me see what you guys have to say about this. What do we got? 100 people in here? Thanks everyone for showing up for this midday kind of spur of the moment live. I appreciate it. What do we got? Oh man, I see Mr. Walrus. I'm sure he's got some good comments in here. What do we got going on? Okay. Leaf Green Goblin, do you think there'll be a PSA summer special? No. I don't think so. I'll tell you why. Because they're behind. I have an order that got there. It arrived June 23rd, I think. I think it was June 23rd. It's still in arrival. They haven't even unpacked it yet. So it hasn't even started getting graded yet. And, I don't know. I think they're getting backed up again. I think someone released a video, I forget who it was, about kind of questioning, could PSA shut down again? I don't think it's to that level, but things are definitely getting delayed. I've heard a couple people talk about how they're probably not going to have their orders back in time for the Collecticons they want to be back for, which is sad. And so I doubt they're going to run a special when demand is still this high, right? Usually you run specials when you need more business. I don't see it happening. Don't see it happening. Navi Station, what's up? Mr. Walrus, graded cards is impossibly hard and should not be attempted. So Mr. Walrus, me and Mr. Walrus have been back and forth many times on this subject. He very thoroughly believes in grading your cards, and that's where you should be putting your capital to work in this hobby. So I'm sure he's very pro this video deep down. Brett says, I like sealed, but damn, the cards look good in slabs. What's a Chilling Reign booster box going for? 140? Yeah, I think so. About 140 these days. Player one, Pokemon is the perfect money laundering business. Love it. Love it. Mr. Walrus, let's see. He's got it saying. I don't know, Alex. Grading sounds scary hard. I mean, I'd have to trust the postal system twice. That is the truth. That's what the tracking's for, right? Tracking and insurance. Oh man. All right. Metasand. There are actual companies buying collections and flipping them by grading them. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what everyone who has a business in this hobby does, basically, right? I mean, that's what any large seller. That's kind of the name of the game. It's churn and burn, baby. Mr. Walrus is just trying to just crap all over grading to lessen the competition that he's dealing with. I can see that. Oh, that's so funny. The Pokey Martian's in here. What's up, man? Bro, you gonna grade cards, you gotta pay shipping plus insurance, etc., which adds an extra 30 plus. So yeah, let's talk about that. So if you're gonna grade cards, I recommend at least getting a large submission. So I would say I recommend at least like 40 to 50 cards and up, because that way after like the shipping there and back, you have to insure it back, the PSA fee, basically everything all in, it'll come under less than $16 a card. It's $15 for the grading fee, and then after those shipping and fees and all the insurance and all that stuff gets kind of boiled down, it'll come out to like under $16 a card if you have enough quantity. And so you're talking about an extra few cents, maybe, I don't know, 50 cents to 90 cents per card when you add in the shipping, the insurance, the shipping back to you, all that type of stuff. So yeah, I mean, that is an issue. But like I said here, like he said, $30+. Yeah, $30+. But if you have 50 cards, that's less than $1 a card. That's easily workable into your margins. So don't worry too much about the shipping and fees. It's kind of what everyone talks about with eBay. It continues to work. Look at all the successful businesses in this space, right? Everyone is successfully buying and selling cards. And the biggest site is still eBay, which everyone sells on. If it was really that big of an issue, it wouldn't be working. So it's just part of business. The shipping, the fees, it's all part of business. That's all it is. Don, what's up? Thanks for showing up, man. Don showed up for the pack break. Thanks to everyone who was at the pack break on Sunday. Congrats on everyone who got good hits. And for anyone who didn't, there is better luck next time, but I did include some hits in with your order, so that way you didn't go home empty-handed. So thanks everyone for that, including you, Don. All right, Mr. Walrus, the data is always skewed. 10 rates are artificially high. People are only sending in high-quality cards to be graded. Yeah, I get that. I mean, but we're looking at near mint cards here, right? Like, I'm not saying just buy a random collection thrown in a shoebox. I'm saying this is what near mint copies are going for on the open market that you can source right now. So if you're sourcing mint cards, then yeah, you're going to be sending in mint cards. So yeah, the grading, they're skewed, that there aren't many 6s, 7s, and 8s, but that just gives you an idea of like how easy it is to grade a lot of these cards. Herblore, do you think near mint cards bought off TCG Player are as likely to hit 9s and 10s as the distribution from PSA site suggests? So literally minutes before I got on the stream, I was just having an Instagram conversation with someone about that. We back? Are we back? I forgot to hardwire. So basically what's going on right now is I have a hardwire for the internet. However, I don't actually have it like installed. Like, it's not ran through the walls and everything yet. So I just have a loose cable that I plug in every single live stream to make sure we're all good. So that's what happened. I forgot to run my cable and plug it in. I was still on Wi-Fi. I'm still working on getting someone out here to get that. It's impossible. It is impossible to get anyone to come do work on your house. Like, I have the money. I can schedule anytime you need, whether it be weekdays, nights, days, weekends. I don't care. I just need someone to come out and install some cat cable for me. Can't get anyone out. So it's impossible. So, but yeah, so that's where I'm at. Sorry, I almost lost everyone. The question was for Herblore, do you think near mint cards? Okay, yeah. So the near mint cards on TCG Player, right? It's a funny thing because I hear mixed results from people. I don't like TCG Player that much. I've recently kind of did kind of a test, and I went through and I bought I guess I bought about like 20 25-ish cards off TCG Player, different cards. And each one I bought anywhere from like 10 to 25 each. So I bought about 10 to 25 of about 25 different cards. And I was just talking to someone about this. I think about 40 to 50% of them come in gradable. What I mean by gradable is 9 or 10. And then of that 40 to 50%, we're going to find out when I get these orders back from PSA, but probably only maybe 20, 30% are going to get 10s. But again, when you take into consideration, okay, it's still a good move, right? Because you can just take those extra, 50% cards that you don't grade. You can flip them back on the market as near mint again, send them to someone else, and you're just going to eat the shipping and the fees, so you're going to be down a little bit. But if you're making high percentage plays like these, when you get the cards back, the 9s are going to make you profit, which is probably going to eat up all the losses you had by flipping the near mint copies back on the market. So that's going to break you even. And then all the 10s are just going to be pure profit, right? Just absolute, infinite amount of gains. So it still works. However, for me, I'm kind of learning that I don't know if I want to be one of those high volume people. Like, I just went through a test because this is what people are telling me. Alex, you got to do this. This is the best way to do it. It might just not be for me. It might not be for you. If you want to be a high volume person, great. If not, I'm more inclined to just go on eBay, see, if I can see the actual card front and back, if I can go to my local card shop, hold the card in my hand, actually inspect it. That's where I feel a lot more comfortable. When I can actually see the card, whether it be pictures or in my hand, I'm much more likely to do that. Yeah, it's going to be a lot, take a lot more time to source. You're going to have a lot less to source. You can't go on TCG Player and just buy 10 or 20 of the same card from a single seller. However, you're going to have a lot more high percentage plays that way. You're going to go through a lot less, buying and selling, and all this volume. And, like I said, it all depends on your situation. If you've got a business to run and you need constant cash flow, it probably won't work. But for me, I'm just trying to make some plays here and there, make some profits to put into my long-term investments. And so it works for me. So yeah, Herblore, as far as TCG Player is concerned, just do what works best for you. What else do we got? Brett says, if you're after waifus, why don't people collect Y shorts? I take exactly. I don't understand it. Like, if you want provocative women on cards, Pokemon, I don't understand it. Like, there's a lot of other options out there. A lot of more risque cards than Pokemon out there. I don't get it. But again, I don't understand how people are calling it a kid's card game, because if Pokemon's really printing those cards for kids, then we got even more problems on our hands than that. But so just the fact that those cards continue to come out and exist, they obviously know they're catering to older people who have this anime fascination with anime girls, right? So Pokemon knows what they're doing, and when people continue to use that argument like it's a kid's toy, well, it's not. It can't be all a kid's toy, because if it's all a kid's toy, then they're marketing some weird things at kids. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's see, Pokesun, what's going on? TCG Player is not always reliable for 9s and 10s. Absolutely, that I feel the same way. In my experience so far, I would say 50%. Like, you're gonna have about 50% gradable cards. No joke. All joking aside, I've dealt with more returns on TCG Player than I've probably in the past month that I've dealt with eBay ever. I've literally been getting cards that have creases on them, bent corners, scuffing, that are sold as near mint, that people try to just put through as near mint, and hopefully people won't return them. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of TCG Player right now, so I would prefer eBay. I prefer seeing the cards. Now, if TCG Player is starting to implement those pictures, if you can find someone that has a picture of the card and it looks good, hey, by all means, go for it. But as far as just going on there, like finding a card, putting quantity of 10 from one seller and buying them all, I haven't had the best luck, but maybe others have. Mr. Walrus, it'll be fun to be out thousands while your cards are being graded for 3 months. Hey, Mr. Walrus, are you doing anything right now? Do you want to come on the stream? Do you want to come on and tell us all about how bad grading is? I'd love to hear it from you in person, man. Poke-san said, I would expect 7s and 8s for near mint purchases on TCG Player. Yeah, so like that's the best way to go into it to like not get yourself upset. Is just go in expecting 7s and 8s, and that way when you get gradable cards, it's almost like a bonus. It's like, oh, nice, awesome. I wasn't expecting this. Because yeah, if you go in expecting like 9 and 10 condition cards, like I said, about 50% of the time, maybe more, you're gonna be disappointed. Especially with Paldea Evolved. Those cards are awful shape. Those cards are absolutely atrocious. Leaf Green Goblin. I may be a cynic, but I feel like a lot of people who are selling these on TCG Player are aware they won't hit a 10. Doesn't mean some won't, though. Absolutely. I agree. 100% agree. There's a lot of those stores that grade themselves, and they just they already pre-grade them. They put on the market everything they don't think. However, I will say, you know, I do have I have a stack of about 50 cards here, and these are all from TCG Player. And you know, I grade pretty hard. I mean, I thoroughly go through the cards, you know, under a light, and so there you definitely can find them. I mean, it's like I can't you know hate on it all the way. You can definitely find a lot of plays, but yeah, don't expect like 100% or even 75% of your cards you order to be gradable. It's just not going to happen. You know, you're going to have some of those stores that pre-grade. You're also going to have some of the larger stores who just do mass box breaks and sell every single, and they don't really take the time to go grade and stuff. I've talked to multiple stores that actually don't grade. I know it sounds crazy, but some stores just do so much volume in all the sealed product they have, or they get enough collections in, they can just like buy and sell the singles, and they don't. There's a lot of stores that just don't even grade. I know it's crazy, but it's the reality of it, and so. There are still copies out there that are ungraded raw that you can actually find in 9 and 10 condition. So it's just hit and miss. It's really hit and miss. Let's see what we got. Don says they're between 6 and 8. I mean, 6 might be getting a little low. I mean, of course, I have got cards with creases, so I guess it's possible. Let's see what we got going on here. You can get more PSA 10s. You can't print more cards. I'll stick with seals. Mr. Walrus, man, you're such a liar. Don't make me dox you, man. Don't make me bring up our conversations. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, Don Harrington, XY and Sun and Moon sets are starting to really skyrocket. Even the tins in some collectors boxes are getting up there. Yeah, so again, conspiracy theory, get our tinfoil hats on. Alex pumped the market. Ever since I mentioned XY, I think a lot of people started noticing it, and things have skyrocketed quite a bit. I mean, Steam, literally earlier this year, Steam Siege boxes were in the 200s. Fates Collide boxes were 330, I remember. You know, a lot of those boxes were a lot less. And even like Breakpoint Breakthrough were in the like low 500s, maybe even 400s sometimes. Everything's went up exponentially 20, 30, 40% right now. And then Sun and Moon with all the tag team sets are absolutely just crazy. The earlier Sun and Moon sets haven't seen the moves like the later ones have with the tag team cards. I'm talking the sets like, you know, Base, Guardians Rising, you know, Burning Shadows, like Forbidden Light, some of those sets, Shining Legends. Like they haven't seen the rise the later sets have. But the tag team sets are out of control. Even Hidden Fates is starting to move. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to Hidden Fates. Those boxes those ETBs are now getting up in the 180s. So they're finally starting to move. A lot of the hits are starting to, you know, make that turn up. And so it's definitely on the rise. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think XY, Sun and Moon, and even Sword and Shield are going to continue to rise this year. People are seeing Scarlet and Violet, Paldea, probably Obsidian Flames too. They're seeing it sit on shelves. They have that idea that it's always going to be there. Will it? I don't know how long it's going to sit at those prices. It might be a long time. It might not be. It might be a Chilling Reign, Battle Styles, Fusion Strike situation where it sits there for a while and the market starts getting bought up and then people start FOMOing into it and pushes them up right back into the hundreds. I don't know. But people have a feeling right now those boxes are always going to be available. And so they are starting to put their money into things where they think, well, this might not be available much longer. Things like XY, Sun and Moon, even sword and shield sets, especially how I showed Darkness Ablaze last video. Even lackluster sets like that are starting to get money pour into them because people hear, hey, it's out of rotation. That means it's most likely out of print. We're not getting any more of this stuff. Now's the time to get in. If you ever want to be in this, it's probably not going to be any lower, and it probably won't be. So, yeah, I think a lot of money is going to continue to pour back in the older stuff while people kind of let Scarlet Violet, Paldea, and the newer sets kind of find their footing. So, yeah, I agree. Leaf Green Goblin, I like sealed because the time spent flipping, I could be collecting and or working my career. Yeah, that's always my criticism, right? So I had this conversation with so many different people. It was the cause of a lot of that debate back in the day. I wouldn't say much like vintage versus modern debate, but every time I had those vintage versus modern debates with people, for some reason the PSA or the grading versus sealed always worked its way into it. Don't know how, but that's always been my criticism is how much time are you spending? And I'm going to tell you right now, most everyone I've heard talk about it is lying. They're lying to you. And they might not be lying to you on purpose. They're lying to themselves. If they truly took every minute of every day that they even just got on eBay, TCG Player, researched anything online about cards, if they took every minute of every day they put into researching the market and knowing all the subtleties of what every card's going for, what the pop reports are, the 9s, the 10s, and actually going through and digging through all this, and then going out and sourcing the cards, finding all those different cards to source, getting them in, doing what I just did, like, relisting the ones that you can't grade, go through, pre-grading, making the listings or making the grading submissions on PSA or wherever grading submission they're using, sending the cards in, waiting months, getting them back, listing them to sell, waiting for them to sell because everyone knows you can't auction stuff right now. Auctions are getting absolutely massacred, so you can't auction them. So then you got to sit on all this inventory for who knows how long while it eventually sells out little by little. And in the time it takes to do all of that, what else could you have been doing? Could you have just picked up some extra hours at work? Could you have maybe, put forth more effort at work? Maybe get that promotion, get that raise, right? Or, if you're in a company where, you're actually paid per performance or like paid on commission or anything like that, could you have just followed a few more leads, done a little extra work at work? My point is like a lot of the time you could have made more money elsewhere than doing that. Also, what else are you giving up? What's the opportunity cost in your life? Not the opportunity cost dollar-wise. What's the opportunity cost of your time, right? So instead of doing all that work, could you have been hanging out with your significant other? Could you have been hanging out with your kids? Could you have been out playing golf with your friends? Could you have been watching a movie? Like, what else could you have been doing of things you actually enjoy that you're not doing because of this? Now, here's where the gray area is. Well, I enjoy it. I enjoy researching Pokemon. I enjoy finding the deals. People say they enjoy it. And so if you enjoy it, it's not really work. And I can't argue that. If that's truly what you enjoy doing and you don't want to be doing anything else with anyone else out in the world, okay, no problem, do it. But when we're talking about like actual time commitment, I don't think people are honest about how many hours it actually takes to do all of those steps to actually make those returns in the end. That's my honest opinion. Whereas with sealed product, it's not quite as liquid as a stock market. You can't just click a button and have the funds. However, you don't have to always be selling, right? It's not ABS. You don't have to always be selling. You can have long periods of time when you're not doing anything. And then when you do finally want to realize the gains on a sealed product, you go down, you take some pictures, you list everything, everything sells out, and then you ship everything out and it's done. You're done. Then you put that money into your new investment, you put that on a shelf, and you're done with work. You don't do anything else for as many months or years until you want to sell another portion of your sealed investment, and you rinse and repeat. So it's way less work, way less taxing, and you don't have to be as in tune with everyday movements of the market, right? It's kind of like your 401k, right? You get a statement every quarter or something. You're not. Most people are on their 401k every single day saying, "Oh, I'm up $10 today. Oh, I'm down 100. I'm up 150." So you're not having to constantly worry about where the market's at. You just check on it every few often, see where it's at. Do I want to add more to my position? No. Do I want to hold it? Okay. Oh, wow, this box is $400 a box now. I guess I'll move those cases and move it into the new product. And it's a lot less stress and things to deal with. So yeah, that's why I'm a sealed product guy. Now, there's a whole other argument where people are going to, trash me and say, well, yeah, but all the money that I made in that amount of time crushed your sealed product investments. And that may be true, right? But that's also true of a 401k versus an active trader, right? An active trader on Wall Street is going to crush a passive 401k investment, a mutual fund, a dividend stock. They're going to crush those gains. But you're not working to invest, right? You invest your money. You're not looking to get an income from your 401k, right? Like eventually and down the road, but all the years you're working, your 401k is growing in value. You're not taking an income from it. You're putting money into it that you earn at your job to grow as an investment. The same thing goes as sealed product. You're actively investing money you've already earned into an investment so that investment works and makes money for you. You don't want to work for your money in an investment. And so that's why I don't consider like PSA cards, flipping singles an investment. It's a play, right? You're running a side business for income. So if you want to run a side business, great. This is the best way to go. If you're looking to invest, you already have a life, you already have your time spent, and you maybe have a extra 30 minutes, an hour a day that you can spend on this stuff. I think seal's the way to go. That's how I feel about it. Sorry for that long-winded rant, but I get asked that stuff all the time. That's how I feel. There's nothing wrong. I'm not against flipping and PSA cards. I just think it's a lot more. There's a lot more that goes into it than sealed product investing. Let's see. First box breaks. Now this, you're losing me, Alex. I'm crushed. Man, you gotta have fun once in a while. You gotta crack some boxes. Maybe eventually I'll be up to PokeRev and be cracking a legendary collection on here, right? Maybe eventually we'll get to that level. Chronic Collections. Finally, someone who knows the analytics. Love that you're blessing the community with this knowledge. Oh, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like when you put information in front of people, it's not just kind of like pie in the sky stuff. I think a lot of people on streams, they talk about plays they made or how great it was back in the day, or, they show things after the fact. Like they'll hold up cards and say, I only paid $20 for this card. It's going for $200. And it's like, that's great. It's eye candy. It's fun to talk about the winners. But I think it's a lot more valuable to show right now what plays you can make right now on the market. Like you can literally be watching this stream on one screen. On the other screen, you can go buy that Miriam card right now, send it to PSA, and make money on it like today. So it's not like a in the past type thing. That's why I wanted to make a video like this to show people, hey, you can go find these plays right now. It's not over. The Pokemon flipping, investing, nothing's over. It's just transitioning right now, going through different times. There's always opportunities in every single market. Ron says, where can you download accurate, up-to-date data on sales for all cards in CSV or Excel format? Ooh. If anyone knows that answer, type it in chat for Ron. I do not have an answer on that. I do not have an answer on Excel format. I agree, Brett. Where are you, Mr. Walrus? When are you going to come live? Ready for you anytime, my man. Zessie said, the grading fees kind of deter me because I'd rather just put that money into new product. Yeah, I get it. I mean, when you find high percentage plays, it's very hard to lose, but the market could shift, right? You could have that Lugia and you could have the Lugia and the Giratina in grading right now, right? And then boom, the reprint gets here and they reprinted Silver Tempest and Lost Origin. And oh no, now all the PSA prices crashed. And now when I get my cards back, oh no, I got a 9. Now the 9s aren't going for what they used to go for, and now I'm caught, right? And unfortunately, PSA cards don't always have that 100% track record the way booster boxes do. So you can't always just say, oh, just hold it. Just hold it long term. That's not always the case for PSA cards where it is for booster boxes. So yeah, there's always inherent risk. That's why there's higher rewards, right? That's why you can 3x and 4x your money with some of those cards. Just whatever it works. There's no one right way. There is no one right way. That's why I wanted to show this today. Mr. Walrus, I don't know if you do a large submission, you can get a bad grader and get PSA 8s. Mr. Walrus, man, you are talking down so hard to try to keep out your competition. It's so funny to watch. Alex needs to do a video on how to pick cards for grading. What is this? What am I doing here, Don? What do you mean? Here, man. Were you not here earlier? Here. Right here. This is how I pick cards for grading. I look at I look at the Miriam. It's the top hit in the set. It's a waifu. It's going to be very liquid. Then I go look at what you can buy them for. $50, $52, $53. And then I go look at what they're going for in a 9, which is $90, what they're going for in a 10, which is in the 200s. So I know I've got 50% in value built in on the 9 after grading fee. And I know I've got about a 4x of my money on a 10 after the grading fee. And then I go look at how hard it is to grade them. And I look at, okay, 1,440 total graded, 625 10s, 638 9s, very small amount of 8 7s and less. So I know it's about a 90% chance if I send in a mint card that I believe's mint, I'm going to get a 9 or a 10. That's how I do it. And then you just have to do the research for yourself. Like, that's why I said that's where the time commitment comes in. If you're really about it, you start going through sets, go to Pokelector, start looking at sets, start looking at promos, scroll through the cards. If it's a popular card you think is going to do well, go to TCG Player, sort by highest first and sort by cards. And you can go actually look at and see the exact opportunities that are out there. It's pretty much that easy. I mean, if you're asking me, like, am I going to like go show you every play I'm making? Probably not. I mean, I'll show you it after I give them back to be graded, right? I mean, this is kind of what I do. This is a lot of what I do. There are a lot of people in this community that are probably better at it than I am. You know, I don't have like a big ego or anything like that. You know, I'm not doing anything special out here, but anyone can do this. You know, anyone can do this. Don't let the big guys, the big stores, the big sellers, you know, don't let them discourage you. Don't let them intimidate you. Anyone can do this. It's kind of like poker, right? It's like to play in the NHL, right? You can't just go and play in an NHL game. You can't just, you know, go in the locker room and suit up and say, I want to play today, coach. You can't do that, right? But with like poker, you can literally go to the World Series of Poker. As long as you have the money to buy in, you can sit down in the same tournament as all the greatest poker players in the whole game. You might be at the same table as Phil Ivey, right? It's the same thing as Pokemon. The market's the same for everyone. You can make the same plays as everyone else. As long as you got the money, you can go do the same exact thing as all the big guys are doing. Don't make it, and don't overcomplicate it. They're not doing anything special. They're just doing it on a larger scale. That's it. That's it. Anyone can do this. That's the theme of my whole channel. Anyone can do this. John says it's crazy that Pokemon Center ETBs for 151 are sold out in minutes. Yeah, that was crazy. I put in my order. I got 4 151 ETBs. As I was switching to make another order, it sold out. It was that quick. I mean, I couldn't even get 2 orders in. So yeah, that was absolutely insane. Tons of speculation like they're going to, you know, bring it back. However, Obsidian Flames still not restocked. Paldea Evolve still not restocked. Pokemon Violet, base set Violet still not restocked. Doesn't seem like they're restocking the PC ETBs. It could be just a really limited product going forward. I don't know. Speculation. I don't know. But anyone telling you they're for sure going to reprint them, they don't know. They don't know. They're just speculating. They're probably hoping, whatever it may be. John, what's up? Jonathan, Alex made it to a live video. What Easter eggs do we have today? I'm not nothing crazy. Just trying to show how to make some money in this hobby if people need money now. I need my money now. This is how you can do it. What else we got? Science guy. The difference between a PSA or an 8 to 10 is very small. The whole process is very subjective to the grader. I have been hitting over 70% 10 rate with my submissions though, so it has been very profitable. There you go. It's that easy. It's that easy. I'll come out and hook you up, Alex. Oh, hey, Don. Absolutely, man. I need it. I definitely need the hard wiring to begin here because the Wi-Fi does not do well on these live streams. That's for sure. All right. Harrison asks a good question. How often do I sell sealed product to be considered an investor? Can I just continue to accumulate value without selling any off for the foreseeable future? Absolutely. Right? How long does Warren Buffett hold stocks before he sells? Some stuff nearly forever, it seems like. There's no time frame, and this is a debate I've had in the past with people about the time frame of investing. You know, a lot of people will say, well, they come up with these arbitrary numbers in their head to sound smarter, I guess. of like times you need to hold things to be considered an investment. Some people will say, well, it needs to be at least a year or at least 5 years to be considered an investment. Otherwise, you're just a flipper. It's not true. As far as the Webster definition, as far as the actual dictionary definition of what an investment is, I pulled it up before in an earlier video, but it basically goes something like it's anything that you put money into with the hope of it rising in value. I'll actually pull it up. I will pull it up right now so we can get an idea of exactly what an investment is. Let's see what it is. Let me share the screen. All right. Definition of an investment: the action or process of investing money for profit or material result. That's it. That's all it is. That's an investment. So anything that you are putting money into with hope of it rising in value for a profit is an investment. There's no time frame. You can invest in something for 3 months, for 6 months, for a year, for 5 years, for 10 years. It doesn't matter. So as far as it's be considered an investor, if you're putting money into product with the intent of holding it for it to rise in value, that's an investor. As far as I'm concerned, as far as the dictionary is concerned, if anyone else wants to make up their own definitions, have at it. I'm going to stick with reality here. Again, market doesn't care about your feelings. The definitions don't care about what people feel about things. So, but as far as what I do, I don't assign a time limit or a percent gain to it. So a lot of people will say, well, I, wait 2, 3, or 4 or 5 years before I start to sell. Or other people will say, well, I wait until I'm up X amount of percent to sell. I don't really do that because every product's different, right? And the market's always different. And so sometimes if I want to free up capital, I might sell when the boxes are $150, $200. If I don't want to have that large of a position. Normally, I like to wait as long as I continue to have working capital and I can continue to have liquid funds to buy opportunities when they arise. I'm fine holding everything. If I ever get like strapped for capital and I'm looking around like, well, my cash reserves are getting low. There's going to be a lot of good opportunities coming up. I'll move things that I feel, are stagnant or I don't see moving very well, before I actually wanted to. And so I try to hold between 3 to 500, 3 to 500 like per booster box. The reason I do that is that's kind of the price point where things start to stagnate in Pokemon for whatever reason. Buyers get fatigued. They get wallet fatigue at those prices. That's when things get less liquid. So I like to get out before the liquidity ends. I like to be able to sell when things are still very liquid. And so, $300, $400, $500 a box, good time to get out of some. But I always like to hold some long-term as well. I always like to have some for any type of team-up scenarios, right? You want to have some in reserve in case things blow up like team-up. You don't want to sell out all your inventory. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Renegade, hey man, love the videos and the content. I was wondering if you've ever thought about buying a mic for future videos. Would help hearing me immensely, in my opinion. Keep up the good work. Bro, I got a Blue Yeti mic. Can you not hear me? Hey, everyone in chat right now. Can everyone, I'm looking at chat. Can everyone let me know if you can hear me well? Is the mic working? I thought I had everything figured out, but I still get comments like this every once in a while. Let me see. Mic is fine. Oh, that was my wrong message. Oh, okay. Mic is good. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought I had it all worked out. I know the last video was bad, but I think the setting was wrong. So that's what happened with Streamyard settings. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have a mic, Renegade. I mean, if it's not sounding good, maybe I just need to do a better job with the setting up a studio and getting the sound right or everything. I don't know. I'll do better with that in the future. I'm definitely not the greatest tech guy. I'm learning as I go, though. Learning as I go. All right. What do we got? What do we got in here? All right. Market Scrapper. If the process is being done by all the big dogs and everyone says only buy from the big dogs on TCG Player, seems hard to win. Are people saying that? Are people saying only buy from the big dogs? I definitely don't follow that. I mean, look, TCG Player and eBay, they're really good about their buyer protection. I've never had one issue sending a card back if it's not in the condition described. Now look, don't be one of those guys that's kind of toxic for the community, and just because you order a near mint card and it's not a 9 or a 10, want to send it back. Look, you got it. If you're willing to take the risk, you got to live with the results. Look, a PSA 7 card, it's not very clean. You're going to have multiple whiting. You might have some scratching on the hollow. That's still a near mint card. So I'm not saying just order a bunch of cards and send everything back that isn't perfect and be one of those people. Honestly, your account will probably get banned eventually. But if you order a card and it comes in with a crease, or it's actually a played card or whatever it may be, most sellers are going to be cool about it. If they're not, TCG Player and eBay are always going to side with the buyer in those types of circumstances, especially if you can send pictures of the card. So I'm not telling you to go out and hose sellers, right? Because I think most of us are all sellers. I wouldn't want that to happen to me. But yeah, if you get something sent to you that's not good from like a zero feedback person or a brand new seller, they're going to side with you. So all you're really out is time. You're just like, the money's tied up for a little bit of time while TCG Player, eBay work it out. But you don't have to worry about like getting completely scammed or anything like that. I've been in this hobby, for 8+ years. I've been buying and selling on eBay for 10 plus, 13, 14, 15 years. I've never had an issue getting my money back. I've never lost out on my money. I'll just put it that way. If that helps. I hope that helps. Oh, this is my comment about the waifus earlier. What's more disturbing is that those cards are kids, not adults. It's true. That is true. They're all supposed to be like in their teens, aren't they? It's kind of messed up. It's again though, like I said, then there's the wife shorts. There's other TCGs that are even worse. So, it's one of those. It's like the OnlyFans conversation, right? It's like, if there's a market out there for that stuff, and people are selling it and it's getting bought, who's at fault? The company or the consumer? Who's at fault there? I mean, you got to argue the consumer's at fault there too, right? For actually, wanting that stuff and making a demand for that stuff. So society's all wacky these days, guys. Society is a wacky place. What are your feelings regarding old tins? You have to be more specific. I think everything's a hit and miss. Everything's hit and miss. Some are great, some are bad. I think it really depends on if it's a tin with like a specialty promo in it. Like I know that Armored Mewtwo tin is outrageous. Like I think that's kind of the play when it comes to like the 1-pack blisters, 3-pack blisters, the tins, the collection boxes. Is obviously the packs rise those boxes and things in value, but if you can kind of catch lightning in a bottle and one of those promo cards takes off, you can really set the world on fire if you're invested in those heavily. We're starting to see more and more promos kind of take off in XY, Sun and Moon, and Sword and Shield that you can find in collection boxes and things like that, or tins or blisters. And that's a big play you can make. So yeah, if there's tins that you see that promo card you think you're going to blow up, could be a play. Could definitely be a play. Oh, here we go. We got a super chat over here. Let me scroll. All right. Let me scroll all the way down real quick. I'm so far behind in the chat. Skyfire6282. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Thoughts on Crown Zenith Gold, PSA 10s of Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, Arceus, and the Zamazenta Zacian sealed. Okay. Thinking of buying some while it's low right now. Yeah, so I think Crown Zenith has massive opportunities. Just going to throw that out there. Here. Right on top here. I got some stuff right on top. I mean, there's 2 gold cards for you right there. There's the Giratina. There's the Dialga. I've recently bought more cases, or another case of Crown Zenith ETBs. I don't know why it's so low still. I think there's just so many other options right now. Crown Zenith, in my opinion, is the second best set in all of Sword and Shield. I think it's right behind Evolving Skies. Some people put it ahead of Evolving Skies. So it's definitely up there, top 1, 2, even 3 sets. Tons of value, tons of hits. For those ETBs to still be hovering around $50, I think it's very undervalued. And those cards all coming down as much as they have, when you look at like other hits in some of the other Sword and Shield sets, I can't see a world where those cards and those ETBs don't recover to some level. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan of them. I'm moving into them. Take that for what you will. Let me try to make up back up. Guys, if I missed your question, I'm sorry. If you had one, re-enter it, and I'll work it down. I'm going to try to keep working through the chat. Don said, I just bought 23 tins from 17 to 20 for $400. Dragonite, Salamence, and averaging 48 to 60 a tin. Don, man, I'm not like, I don't know every aspect of the market. If you're telling me it was a good play, it probably was. I mean, Dragonite, great Pokemon. Salamence, I mean, it's mid. But yeah, you know, I mean, I can't see if it was if you got in a bulk deal, it was under market price, and the promos do well, you should be fine. Unfortunately, I can't just tell you off the top of my head how those are. I don't know the market that closely on every product. Sorry about that. This hobby investing requires balancing. I average 10 to 16 hours a week just for this. Add 40 to 50 hours of work and still have to do a lot of other things. Yeah, I mean, that's my whole thing is I don't even have kids. Like, it's just me and my wife. And it wouldn't, like, just taking into account, like, work, you know, spending time with my wife, going out, you know, doing things together, doing things with friends, just work around the house. Like, there's a lot of other things in your day that gets eaten up. I couldn't imagine throwing kids into the mix and then still finding all the hours to do a lot of this stuff. It's definitely a balancing act. You know, then you could get into like some of those like self-help type guys, like the Gary V's or the Grant Cardones or the Alex Hermosis, and they like to talk about, you know, well, you're not going to have balance, right? When you're grinding, when you're building, when you're building your wealth, you're not going to have balance. You're going to be working all the time. You could take that route too. You know, I'm more on the road of enjoy the here and now. You know, tomorrow's not guaranteed. Obviously, work as hard as possible. You know, make the right decisions. You know, use your time wisely. But I'm not the kind of person that's going to put my whole life in a tailspin just to try to like really grind and spend every waking moment, you know, building something just to have a massive amount of money. I think there's a lot more to life than that. But hey, you may be different. You may be in a situation where you want to grind. So there's just no right answers. No right answers when it comes to this. But yeah, Don, it's definitely a big time investment to be serious about anything. Mr. Walrus says, PSA cards sit. You need pictures. People ask stupid questions. No thanks. Hey, Mr. Walrus, can you share your eBay account? I'm just interested to see what kind of things you're selling. It might give us an idea of what you really think. Zachy, my question is, when I decide to part with my beloved Call of Legends booster box, oh, geez, how do I even approach that? I'm scared to sell to anybody anonymously on eBay or something. Well, if you go through a consignment service, you know, you're going to pay a percentage to them. You know, does PWCC do sealed? I don't know if PWCC does sealed, but, you know, or you could always, you know, go to a convention, collect account or something, try to sell to someone there. Sometimes with higher end items, you get more than like a normal collection price. You know, get more percentage they'll give you. You know, you could try to sell like a box breaker, like someone like a PokeRev or, you know, someone like that. When you're wanting to sell high end stuff, they might just buy it to break or something like that. So you can go that route. You can try to deal with like, you know, people known in the community so that, you know, you're selling to a legit person. But yeah, it's a hard thing. When I've sold high end things in the past, well, I worked a deal with a large store, Trolled and Toad, for a lot of my high end boxes I sold back in the day, and I didn't trust it either. I actually drove there in person all the way down to Kentucky, and I actually like went in person, brought the boxes in, they inspected them, they initiated the wire transfer. I waited till the wire transfer hit my account before I left the building. So that's one way to do it. But I have sold like high end cards. Like I sold a complete Jungle PSA 9 first edition holo set, all the holos, which was back when I sold it during the boom. It was, you know, thousands of dollars. It went well. Everything I sold a bunch of PSA cards that were 1,000, 2,000 plus in value back in the day. You know, what you can do to kind of help yourself is, one, obviously insure the package. Two, have, you know, your friend or set up a camera and video yourself packaging it into the box, and you can sign every side of the box if you want. You know, sign over all the ridges, so that way you'll know if the box is ever open. Tape over your signatures, And that way you have all that on tape. So if they ever do try to, pull anything, you have the video to show if it ever comes to like court or anything, or if you have to send it into eBay to get your money back. You can do things like that to really help yourself out. I have done that. I had multiple. I never had a 10-figure order on eBay. I had multiple high 5-figure orders, like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 orders, and I did that every single time. I set up a camera. I packaged. I went through every single thing I was putting in the package on camera. I put it in the package on camera, and then I signed every opening, taped over the signature, and sent it out. Never had any issues. Never had to actually go to the lengths of pulling that footage out. But you can always do those types of things to help you out if you really want to get OCD about it, like I was, because that was a lot of money to me. Sending 6, 7, 8,000. I think it's a lot of money for a lot of people. But as far as the boxes go, I sold most of my boxes in person. You can always do that as well. That's my best advice for you. I hope that helped a little bit. Brett says that you start collecting Pokemon, you realize that other TCGs are also awesome, and now you have to figure out how to allocate your resources. Yeah, that's the hardest part. That is the hardest part about all this stuff. Yeah, so Zaki, Mr. Walrus has a point. Message using Discord to some of the big YouTubers, they may buy it. Yeah, exactly. That's what I just said. That's what I would do. That's probably your best route to start off. TJT, the best place for me right now, I would say, would be low value PSA 9 cards. A 9 is just one grade under 10. It's not a race it's a marathon. Yeah, I mean, the issue with 9s it's as the population gets more and more, flushed out, you're going to have enough people that want that card to get through the 10s and the 10s to rise in value enough to want the 9s. But here's the thing. There's a lot of awesome cards right now, like awesome art cards that are going for very little. Here, I have I'll just pull up some of my watch list. Like, I was just kind of getting it. I mean, you're talking like some of these cards in PSA 10 condition are like $20. Now, look, these are plays that, look, they might end up being nothing. They might end up never being worth any money. I get that. But also some of these plays are just like, well, it's almost worth the play. Here, one of them is the Shining Fates Eevee. The Shining Fates Eevee VMAX, the promo that comes in the ETB. Those are ending around $20 in a PSA 10. You have the Meowth. Okay, the Meowth VMAX. It's a Sword and Shield promo 05. Sword and Shield promo 005. It's an awesome artwork. The Meowth VMAX. They're ending around $20 in a PSA 10. Like, I've been watching some of those cards thinking, well, what does it hurt, right? If I buy some of these cards for $20 a piece in a 10, what's going to happen? I mean, we're almost at a floor, basically. I mean, they can't go too much lower. And who knows? Maybe enough people actually come back and want these promos in the future. And I mean, I'm not like moving into some of these things yet, but it's stuff I've been looking at. Like, man, you can buy PSA 10s for $20 now. We haven't seen that in a long time. And it's starting to get a little crazy. I don't know what to say about it. Hannah, we have one of our 1.7% female viewership in here. Nice to see you, Hannah. When people say liquid, what exactly do you mean? So liquid as in how fast you can sell. So like a stock market investment is extremely liquid. So you can just push a button and it sells and the money's right in your account. That's like 100% liquidity. Being liquid is how fast you can get out of an item. And so, modern cards, modern booster boxes, extremely liquid. As you get farther and farther back, there's less and less eyes on it. There's less and less buyers. As prices get higher, they become less liquid because there's less people that can actually afford things when they get up to 500, 1,000, 1,000 plus. And so the best liquidity in the hobby I've found is usually like $300 and under, I would say, in that range. Anywhere from like a $10, $20 card up to like $300 card or booster box. Anywhere in that range, it's usually pretty liquid. If you put it on the market or send it to auction, it's going to sell, at around market price, right? Because sure, you can send anything to auction that's going to sell, but if you send more scarce things to auction, more like niche things, they're not going to sell at the market price, the price you want. You usually have to wait on those. But most all the brand new sets of modern, most all the modern boxes, if you send them to auction, they're all going to end with relatively the same range. So they're real liquid. So that's what we all mean when we're talking about liquidity. It's a big thing. I think it's good to have a mix, right? Because with extremely liquid things, you're not going to have major price rises, right? Because there's just too much of it. Everyone can do it. With the less liquid, the more niche items, that's where you see a lot of your more exponential gains. However, they are harder to move out of, like we were just hearing about that Call of Legends booster box. And so I think it's good to have a mix. You want to have some illiquid items. You want to have some you can actually hit home runs on. But you want to have a lot of I would say the majority of your items to be really liquid. So that way you can always have, cash flow whenever you need it. And you don't get stuck with a pile of unsellable items. Hope that helped on that question, Hannah. Don says, not what I meant, Alex. Was referring to showing how to use grading tools for centering. What defects to look for. Oh, Don. So I don't get that far in the weeds, man. I put it, I have a magnifying light. I just kind of hold it under there. I look at the corners, I look at the centering, look at the front, make sure everything looks all right. And then I'm good with that. As far as getting real down to the nitty gritty, I don't go that far with it. I've been pretty successful with it up till now. If someone in the chat maybe help Don out with that. I'm not one of those type of people. I don't get that detailed with the grading. Sorry about that, Don. Obsidian Flames ETB got restocked but sold out in seconds this week. Yeah, so in my opinion, I'm not 100% sold on those restocks. I don't think they're restocks, Navi Station. I think what it is I think when people, when they return their pre-orders, I think it shows back up as inventory. So I don't think Pokemon actually restocked it. I think every time someone cancels their pre-order, it shows back up. It gets restocked into the system immediately. So that's what happens a lot of times on Pokemon Center when pre-orders show back up. I don't think they're really restocking it. That's just my opinion. I have no knowledge of it, but I think that's why we see these flash like ups and downs is because there's no real inventory there. There's probably a couple boxes that someone canceled, and that's why they get bought out so quick. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. That's my take on it though. Pokemon Catcher 25. Like sealed is fine, but many years down the line, don't underestimate how many people will have such boxes kept. Then it will become junk wax era of cards. Yeah, I don't think so on that. I know that's always the concern with a lot of people in the hobby. However, look at this stream right now. There's 113 people watching this live. Okay, 111. My videos maybe get 2, 3, 4, 5,000 on the high end. And anyone watching this video, hey, if you're not subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing. We're almost at 5,000 subs. It's a huge benchmark for me. I'd really appreciate it. But with that being said, other Pokemon investment channels, they don't really get a ton of views. Like in terms of like, YouTube in general, like a PokeRev, hundreds of thousands or, 50,000. And so the Pokemon investing community is relatively small. The people, and here's the thing, the people actually in this community putting away large amounts of product like everyone says they're doing, and everyone keeping it sealed for all these years like everyone says they're doing, is a lot lower than you might think. It's a lot lower. I mean, I would probably say it's probably 1% or less of the entire community is actually investing in sealed product. And so when you're in these types of echo chambers here on YouTube of Pokemon investing, it seems like it gives the illusion like, oh, everyone's doing this. Well, yeah, most everyone in these little compact parts of YouTube are, but most of the hobby isn't. And most of the people buying this stuff in the future, they're not the ones paying close attention to all the market movements and thinking about how much population of these cards are out there, how many boxes are printed, how many boxes are still out there, how many people are sitting on mountains of this. They're not going through all those dynamics. They're just buying the product they want. Like right now, people buying Darkness Ablaze. They're not thinking, well, how many people have sealed cases of Darkness Ablaze? Well, what's the best pull in Darkness Ablaze? Well, how much is the population of that card? Well, what does the PSA 10 go for? They're not doing all that. They're just, I want a Darkness Ablaze box for my collection, or I want to open Darkness Ablaze. I know it's crazy for us to think that way, but that's the normal consumer. That's how people think. That's why that's just why, America is the way it is. People consume, they don't always think things through, and a lot less people are that strategic with the investing than you might think. So that's my take on it. Could I be wrong? Always. I don't think I am on this one. I really don't think I am. I don't know Triumph. I don't know what Sword and Shield boxes to invest in. I've got Lost Origin and Silver Tempest as it got cheapish. What do you guys think? Ooh, man, those two sets right now are dangerous. If you got a long-term mindset, you should be all right. But yeah, if we get reprints of those, just be prepared for a little fluctuation. That's all I'm going to say there. Because it could fluctuate a little bit. But could be another buying opportunity to dollar cost average into that. We are a small community that collects sealed products. There are still new people every day learning of this hobby. You can't name a booster box from the past that has less. Yeah, that's Brett. Thanks for saying that. That's exactly what I just said. It's hard for people to realize that are really engrossed in this community that why sealed product moves over time, but the demand is always there for people. Think about it. People want to gamble. They want to open packs. They like the enjoyment of opening packs. And, although it's cool to own a card and look at it and have it displayed on a shelf, that card is the end, right? After it gets put in a slab, that's the end. That's the end product. There's nothing else you can do with it. I mean, maybe you can buy a graded guard and put that around it, or put it on a stand, or display it on a wall of art. But that's it. It's final. A sealed box it can be displayed. It can be opened. You can sell the packs. You can open the packs. You can display the packs, one of each artwork. There's so much to do with sealed products, and so it's not just a finite a product. It's got a lot of dynamics to it. Let's see. I've never had issues with your audio. Get some acoustic treatment if you want. Highly recommended. Yeah, I will continue to make things better as things go forward. Renegade was wondering your thoughts on where Crown Zenith gold cards, PSA 10s. I talked about that, right? Yeah, I talked about that already. If you go back in the stream, I already answered that question. But yeah, I'm bullish. I'm bullish on Crown Zenith, bullish on the gold cards. Brett, no. Expected returns in the stock market is like 10%. Your booster box going from 100 to 200 is doubling your money. Exactly, yeah. So the risk to reward ratio on Pokemon is much higher than the stock market, right? I would compare it more to buying single stocks, right? So you can buy single stocks and make exponential gains. You can buy crypto and make exponential gains. You can buy Pokemon and make exponential gains. There's more risk involved in this market, but that's why the gains you see are much higher. It's not that anything is out of whack or things are going to crash. It's just when you take on more risk, you get higher rewards. You can also take bigger beatings, right? We've seen that in PSA cards, so it can happen. Let's see. All right, there was that super chat. Now I'm getting down again. Now I'm getting down there. Brett said, I don't know what's happening in today's market. I think the only way to get those returns that fast is grading cards when a set first comes out. Sealed is a longer term play. Well, I mean, Brett, I think it just obviously when a set comes out, the race to the bottom is real. There's much more opportunities, trying to crack those packs and get those, or buy those cards and get them graded, obviously. But like I showed, I mean, going all the way back to Silver Tempest, Lost Origin, Crown Zenith, there's a lot of plays still out there, a year, almost 2 years later. And even if you dig farther back, there's always going to be those plays that the market kind of misses or it hasn't caught up. There's always going to be those inconsistencies that you can find. But yeah, I mean, the newer sets are always going to have the more obvious plays and the more guaranteed plays, as guaranteed as you can get with the 9s and 10s compared to the near mint pricing. But there's always plays out there. Poke Mofo. I have not transitioned into Japanese investing. I know many have. Sounds like you have. I have not. I follow the old rule as if I don't understand it, I don't get involved. I don't put my money into it. I'm not a self-proclaimed expert at this, but I feel I've gained enough expertise and knowledge about this market where I feel comfortable enough putting my money to work in it. I don't feel the same way about Japanese. And so that's why I haven't moved into Japanese. I don't understand the boom. I don't understand the craze. I don't get it, right? For me, if I don't want it in my collect, I wouldn't want to own it. Like, I actually want to own English cards. I want to own English Steel product. I like to have one every booster box. I like a lot of the cards. And so, and then I understand the actual fundamentals behind it too. With Japanese, in my opinion, I think a lot of people are going to transition back to English in the future because they're going to want cards they can actually read. They're going to want, I don't know. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. We could be going through a major shift in the hobby and Japanese could take over for the long-term future. It's just, for me, I don't necessarily feel that way right now, and that's why I'm staying with English. But again, don't take my word for it. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. People that jumped in Japanese, they're crushing me in games right now. So obviously I'm not doing everything right. Any thoughts? Okay, Lodemir. Any thoughts on when investing in a sealed product is not worth anymore? I mean, money-wise, after release-wise, when to let it go. Every sealed product's different. If you ask me, I've got it wrong. I sold all of my XY Sun and Moon boxes. I had every box. I had every single box. I had everything from XY base through Evolutions, including Double Crisis blister packs, including all the Generations product, including, everything. I had every Sun and Moon product, including Dragon Majesty, including Shining Legends, so I had everything. I sold every single box during the boom in 2020, 2021. Was it the right decision? I thought it was. Things crashed afterwards. Now, all the team up boxes all the tag team boxes are more than what I sold them for back then. Team ups, 3x what I sold it for. I sold it for like $700 and something back then. So, for me, I bought that box at like $100 and something. It was, like 7x, 700% gain for me. It was a great play, but was it the right time to sell? Obviously not. So I don't know what to tell you about that. You're never going to catch the tops. You're never going to catch the tops. You just need to have a goal in mind and be willing to live with the play. And also, what the main thing I would say is know where that money's going to go. Have a use for it. Don't just like see a price and say, oh, this is a huge gain, I'm going to sell it. And then say, now what? Right? What are you going to do with that money? Let it sit in a savings account? Do you have things to do with that money? Do you have a better place to put that money? Where are you going to do with it? Right? So that's what I would say about it. But as far as like knowing when to sell which product where, no idea. I couldn't believe the rebound all the sets had after the rise and fall. And so it's all craziness to me. Let's see. Glenn, would you guys buy a case of Koreadon PC exclusive ETBs? I don't know. It's already had its massive rise out of the gate on actually, hold on a second. The Koreadon, I believe that one's still available on Pokemon Center if I'm not wrong. And I think it's actively selling somehow on TCG Player for more. So you might already have a profit margin built in if you're wanting to make that play. So it might not be the worst play. If I could be wrong about that though. Let's see. The Hidden Fates Baby Shinies are mostly $25 to $30. Sure, there are tons out there, but it's so cheap that I occasionally buy one or two. Other people have made that play as well. That could be a play. Can't knock it. Can't knock that play at all. What would you do? What would you think of Brilliant Stars will do in the future? Sealed and singles. That's another one that's supposed to get a reprint or had a reprint. I don't know. I can't keep up with all the rumors anymore. I mean, everyone keeps saying, even people I know in the hobby that I've personally talked to, they tell me, yeah, I got word from my distributor. We're getting a reprint. Still haven't seen any reprints. Where are they at? Where's Lost Origin? Where's Brilliant Stars? Where's Evolving Skies? Where's, enter whatever set you want? We haven't seen any reprints. So I don't know. As far as Brilliant Stars, I think it's definitely one of the upper echelon sets, definitely in the top half of the whole era. Charizard, obviously, it's kind of like I made that video. Charizard's kind of not in people's like main eyesight right now, but that could be an opportunity. It could, have a rebound in the future. out of all Sword and Shield sets, Brilliant Stars, the price it's at, I think it's hovering right around what Chilling Reign and Fusion Strike are at now. I think it's less than Darkness Ablaze. So when you put it in those factors, I think it's probably a good buy if you're looking to buy Sword and Shield sets. That's what I think. I think so. Brett was responding to Shadow Reaper. I think you should only go after Pokemon Center ETBs. I don't think the regular ETBs are going to have the same value. Yeah, so I used to be an ETB guy back in Sun and Moon and XY. I've really transitioned to booster boxes only and now PC ETBs and booster boxes. The reason is because the ETBs have just really fallen off, unless it's from a specialty set, right? Crown Zenith, Celebrations, Champion's Path, Hidden Fates. Unless it's a specialty set without a booster box, I'm not a big fan of ETBs for regular sets. One, they're big and bulky. They're more to store. Two, they're heavier. They're hard. They're more expensive to ship. Three, the margins, like even if the margins are more, because it's a lower end product, they get eaten up more from shipping and things. So, because if you ship a booster box for $100 and it costs $7 to ship, that's only 7%. If you sell a ETB at $50 and it costs $7 to ship, well, now that's 14% of the total sale. And so, ETBs, you basically, unless they have massive rises, you basically have to keep them sealed and sell them as cases to be able to kind of realize enough gains over time. But unless it's a specialty set, I'm not about the ETBs either. Pokemon Center ETBs, it's a no-brainer play for Scarlet and Violet. They're printed less. They have the stamp promos, which all do well, and it's a great play. They're all every PC ETB now is outperforming every Scarlet and Violet booster box. They were on par, I would say, with Sword and Shield. Before they started the stamp promos, the Sword and Shield PC ETBs, they were sort of on par with booster boxes. Some were a little less. Some were, I don't think any were more when I made a video on them. But booster boxes have always been more liquid. So, again, liquidity, easier to sell. So I've always been more of a booster box fan. But the PC ETBs now are better. Justin Durr, what's up, man? Thanks for showing up. Let's see. Same type of question. Is it worth buying sets like Lost Origin, Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, booster boxes at a higher price now? So some people say don't, I think, some people say don't go back, right? Don't go back and buy. You missed the play. You missed the play. I don't necessarily believe that all the time. Scarlet and Violet right now, it's a great price, right? A great price doesn't necessarily mean you should buy right now. Could it go up? Possibly. But it seems like there's enough supply on the market and there's enough other things going on that people are spending their money on where the supply is going to be there for a while. And so when it comes to Sword and Shield, a lot of those supplies are constantly going down. And as it ages more and more, probably not going to see much more reprints. We're probably not going to see this. We're going to see the supply start to disappear. So those prices might have higher percentage moves in the same amount of time as Scarlet and Violet. So what I'm saying is, if you're just absolutely wanting to buy something right now, today, do you think Scarlet and Violet booster boxes are going to go from 100 to 130? Or sorry, 90 something to 130? Or do you think it's more likely that one of those Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, those middle sets are going to go from 130, 140 to 180 to 200? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. You have to ask yourself that question. In my opinion, I think it's just as likely to see a $200 Sword and Shield booster box in one of those sets than it is to see a $130 to $150 box in Scarlet and Violet in the same time period. That's just me. So I don't think it's still the worst. If you did miss out, if you missed out on the $80, you got to put that behind you. You got to put that behind you. It's the same scenario saying, oh, I missed out on Tesla. I missed out on Amazon. I missed out on Apple. Okay, great. So does that mean you don't buy it now? Does that mean you don't buy it today? What sense does that make, right? Just because you missed part of the move, it doesn't mean those sets aren't going to be $200 and $300 boxes in the future, right? It just means you have less, you're going to make less gains than people who got in before you. So what? So what, right? Maybe those people sell out earlier. Maybe those people are the ones selling out right now at 140. Maybe they are going to make, Everyone's in different places in the market. Everyone makes different plays. Don't let getting in a little late discourage you. There's still plays to be made, right? Darkness Ablaze booster boxes were 135 a couple months ago. Now they're going for 160. 25% gain, 20% gain in a matter of a couple months already. That's how fast stuff moves in this hobby. Plays everywhere. Haven't seen Rudy's latest video yet. Most bearish I've heard him. Even said he doesn't think he'd suggest people invest in Magic given the current interest rates. Interesting. Haven't seen that video yet. I'd have to watch it. That's pretty crazy, though. Interesting to hear. Losty, what's up, my man? Losty is one of the early subscribers here. Thanks for all the support over this time I've been on YouTube, man. Hi, Alex. Do you think Sword and Shield alt sets are underpriced? Alt sets? Oh, alternate art sets are underpriced considering how hard they are to pull. It was averaging 1 per booster case. Man, I 100% think this is going to be one of the most missed eras. Like one of the most. I think this is going to look a lot like tag teams. That's my opinion. I think people are just like everyone's just moving so fast. We're in this hustle and bustle world. Everyone's always moving so fast, and they gotta get the new thing. And now it's Obsidian Flames. Now it's 151. Now it's what's next? What's next? What's next? And they miss things. And it's not until prices start to rise that people go back and say, "Hey, wait." It's not until that big YouTuber like Danny Phantom or someone makes that video in 6 months or a year, and everyone says, "Oh my gosh, he's right. What's happening to these prices?" So yeah, I've said it before. I don't think we're going to see a single Sword and Shield box under $200 in the future, especially the alt art boxes. I think they're all going to be $200, $300, $400 plus boxes, and I think the alt arts are going to see a massive price rise too. That's my opinion. Take it for what it is. Could be right, could be wrong, but yeah, I think it's being missed. I think it's going to be a tag team 2.0. Took Sun and Moon, 3 years or so to everyone to come back and love those cards. I think it's going to be the same type scenario in about 3 years. That's my opinion. Not financial advice. Take it for what it is. Could be wrong. Let's see. Still working my way. I'll never get to the bottom of this chat, I don't think. Nostalgianomics. Maybe we should do. If there is a question specific for you, chat can get out of hand. LOL. Yeah. Put like question or Nostalgianomics and I'll get to it. Here's a Okay, Japanese. I think one of the stronger aspects in Japan, if they seem to reprint over and over like English can do, tougher to get it at MSRP or less though. I'm by no means an expert either. Yeah, I'm not the channel to ask that question. I don't know how the whole like MSRP stuff works. If you have like in Japan, if you live in Japan, can you get an MSRP? I don't know like the price. I don't know how it works. I am just completely ignorant to that market. I'm not going to try and talk about it because I'm going to sound like an idiot. So go to someone that knows more about Japanese, guys. I'm sorry. Trey, what XY Sun and Moon would you invest in at the moment? Obviously, a lot of boxes are up to $300 to $400 a box. At the moment, off the top of my head, I don't know any sets off the top of my head. What I would look at sets that haven't moved. So I would look at sets that haven't moved with this craze. So I probably stay away from the tag teams. Unfortunately, they've already had you missed it. We missed it. I don't have any either. We missed it. But maybe some of the earlier Sun and Moon sets that still have good pulls. Maybe some of the XY sets that haven't seen massive movements. Now, I'm not saying they're not already high, but that haven't seen movements in the last 1-3 months when everything else has. Might be opportunities there. I don't know any off the top of my head without looking, but that's what I would kind of look for. No reprint is coming. Pokemon Company is done with Sword and Shield. The new era is on. That was my original thought. I mean, I made a video saying that yellow borders are dead. They're not printing them anymore. But, I mean, I have friends that have distribution that tell me they're getting this stuff. So I don't think they're lying to me. I mean, I think they are actually getting a reprint. How much? Who knows? But we'll see. I think a lot of it's rumors. I think there are some confirmed that are actually coming, but hey, time will tell. Time will tell. Lodemir, what I meant was when to let go buying, not selling. But what was appreciated insight? When to let go buying, not selling. God, I still don't know what you're asking. Sorry, man. I still don't know how to answer that. I still don't know. Yeah, then Leaf Green Goblin's talking about print to demand. Yeah, that whole, print to demand. It is and it isn't. Like, what can you get? Like 1 box per like order? I mean, I don't know. It's not like they're ripping cases out and sending everyone a case like print to demand. Like, I think it was like a single box or something. Spencer said, do you think PSA is going to lower the $15 TCG bulk price for submissions anytime soon? I don't. Other people might disagree. The PSA is moving slow right now, meaning they're getting bombarded with orders, meaning why would a company lower price if they still have too much to go around? They can't keep up with it. So I doubt it. I don't see it happening in the near future. That's my take until they get a handle on things. If you get below MSRP, you're printing money. I mean, you can pretty much get Scarlet and Violet under MSRP right now, though. MSRP is super high, right? That's $160. So I think what you mean is like under distribution costs or even under retail. I mean, the thing is, we don't even know what retail is anymore. That's the issue. There is no retail price. That's the issue. Distribution prices are $95, $96. That's what stores are buying the boxes at. If you can get boxes anywhere near that, I think it's a good buy too. But yeah, as far as printing money, long term, maybe. Short term, we might be seeing Paldea and Scarlet Violet base $95 to $100 boxes for a while. That's all I'm going to say. They're talking. So Leaf Green and Brett are talking about pre-ordering PC ETBs. Absolutely. Great play. Pokemonster. Yo, it's Thousand. I'm just glad to be able to watch a live stream. Nice topics. Awesome to see you here. Yeah, if you missed the beginning, I really went through kind of the topics. Basically is showing, all the different plays out there with the PSA cards. There's a lot of like quote unquote close to guaranteed plays. So you might want to check out the beginning of the video if you didn't get a chance to already. Nostalgianomics. Spectacled Dev. New to the channel last couple weeks. Loving the vids. Curious, what's the biggest failure you've had in your entrepreneur investing journey? My biggest failure? Well, it has nothing to do with Pokemon. I've had no real fail. I haven't failed in Pokemon. Like I bought into Pokemon Go pretty heavily. It took like a few $300 and something loss total after selling out the cases. I'm still holding some. I've had some bad grades where they come back like a 6 or a 7 where I've lost money on the grade, but nothing major. Like everything sub like $500 is my like big. I haven't had any big losses. I made a video early on my channel talking about my biggest failures. My biggest failure when it comes to investing, ready for it, is when I sold my original company I built, my original lawn care company. I built it from scratch. I mowed lawns through high school. I continued to mow lawns through college and kind of create an LLC and have a full-time business. My college schedule was Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I had like a Wednesday night class some semesters. And then I was off. I was off Monday, Wednesday, and Friday all day. And so I was running my business full-time. That's why. When I graduated college, I bought out another company. I doubled in size, hired a full-time employee, grew, hired employees, and I had a really nice established company. It became just so much. I was working all the time, and I sold it. I sold that company for $90,000 after selling my truck and all that stuff and mowers and everything. And I put a lot of it into the stock market because at that time, I was, trying a lot of different businesses like make money online type stuff, Amazon FBA, where you order product from China and you send it straight to Amazon. They fulfill it. They do all that, ship it for you. You get the profits, affiliate marketing, drop shipping, that type of stuff. And, day trading. So day trading was what I took. I sold my business to try day trading full time. I had some successes with it with extra money. I put that money into an account and, I traded on margin. So I basically had like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of trading power and, did well, did bad, did well. And eventually I started taking some heavy losses and, I forget at this point. I lost probably $50,000 or $60,000. $50,000 or $60,000 within a year's time day trading. Yep. That was my biggest failure as an entrepreneur / investor. And it was rough. And so trust me, if you've taken losses in this, you can always recover. I've recovered. And I don't make those same mistakes anymore. It's kind of paying your stupid tax in life, right? So that's my biggest failure. Nothing in Pokemon though. I've had all success in Pokemon, pretty much. I mean, with I've had some bad plays, but nothing like nothing over $500 or $1,000 ever had a bad play like that in Pokemon. Let's see. What else you guys got for me? What else kind of questions you got for me? Lodomir, Nostalgianomics, you already answered my question to others. I meant if I miss a set few months or a year, does it make sense to buy it later? It just depends on what else is out there, where else the money could be used. For me, I mean, I try not to go back unless there's like a reprint or something. I like to get my inventory or like my position, early on when kind of after the initial release and pre-release hype, when you can usually get into sets cheaper. Sometimes that wasn't the case in Sword and Shield. But for me, I'm okay missing out on plays rather than chasing plays and losing money. Kind of goes back to the whole day trading thing, right? I've made those mistakes before, right? When you chase, you can get caught, right? When you just let plays go, because here's the thing. You're going to have 10 times more pain losing money than you are watching a play go without you. I'm so much more inclined to watch a play go without me, okay, and miss it than I am trying to chase it up and then get in and lose money or stay stagnant for years. I'd rather just take the more high percentage plays. So that's kind of my advice on that. How did you find a buyer for your business? Back then, it was just it was Facebook or Craigslist. Was that when Craigslist was still around? I forget. This was years ago now. Like this was 8 years ago? This was a long time ago. I can't remember exactly how I found the buyer. It was either Craigslist or Facebook. Let's see. His only failure was he didn't buy more back in 2015. Exactly. That is. I say that every time. That's why, like, I'm so, it's so hard for me to say, like, to be one of those guys who tells people to, like, be cautious, because I'm that guy. I was way too cautious when it came to Pokemon. I had money. Like, I've always made pretty good money. I had the money. I was too cautious, too conservative, didn't want to put too much in shiny cardboard, and I paid for it. I still made a lot of money in this stuff, but I didn't become a millionaire like other people did. I would have. I had the money. I could have done it. I mean, I talk about it all the time. I mean, there was a seller that had more than 10 available of Fossil first edition booster boxes for $1,500. Could have bought 10 plus of those at $1,500. Had the money. I had 15 grand. I could have done that. Didn't. That one buy alone, those got up in the mid-teens. I mean, that one buy alone would have been worth $150K plus. Just one investment. And there was tons of those investments available back then. Tons. I mean, I'm talking Neo first edition boxes in the $3,000 to $5,000 range could have bought. Didn't. Mini collections, mini PSA cards that when I graded them, I could have held onto, but I wanted to flip them for a quick profit. Just because I was scared, didn't want to hold too much money into the stuff, and that's honestly my biggest failure in this hobby is not being more bullish. And now people are like, oh my gosh, Nostalgianomics is the biggest bullish guy in the hobby. Yeah, because I wasn't bullish enough back then. And every time I get more bullish in this hobby, every play I make, every plays continue to produce more and more. I mean, it's like everything I continue to do now and the gains I see, it's like I don't see any reason not to be bullish. Like these boxes that I have invested in my basement right now, they continue to move up in price. So it's like I don't see where to be, not bullish. Like when I made those videos with all the celebration, when I used to show all the stuff I bought, like when I made mountains of celebrations boxes and ETBs. Have you seen those things? The UPCs are $400. The ETBs are $85, $90. I'm like, hundreds of percent or 80% up on a lot of those things in a matter of like a couple years or year and a half. Why wouldn't I be bullish on this stuff, right? It's crazy. It's crazy to me why you wouldn't be. Yeah, the real tech usually happens to 9 out of 10 traders. Exactly. Yeah, now I'm, I guess more conservative, but I've had crazy amounts of success. I've made back all that money, by the way. I've made back more than that amount of money that I've lost by more like swing trading / investing. I no longer intraday trade where I'm trying to like buy, sell in the same day. But I make like longer term moves when I see, setups that I like. As far as like, obviously I can't promote stocks in this, not financial advice, not trading advice, none of that. But, so I'm not going to mention any specific companies, but, there's been a lot of plays just in the last couple of years that have had exponential returns that I've made 100+% on, in this past year. And so like, the plays are there. I think I just developed a strategy now where it's more like swing trading, where I hold the positions for maybe 3 months, 6 months, a year, maybe more, and let it have more time to develop and less about, just technical analysis. I still believe in technical analysis. A lot of people don't. Value investors absolutely do not. I'm a believer in technical analysis. The reason is because one, the trading algorithms and the trading bots and all the computer trading, they're set up to trade on technical analysis. Two, there's enough traders out there. There's enough people on Wall Street, people at home that believe in the chart patterns, which inadvertently make the chart patterns end up fulfilling and becoming true, unfortunately, depending if you believe in it or not. But I also invest in companies that I do see like I do see actual fundamentals of the company, and I think it's being undervalued. So, I mean, there's a few different things I look for, but yeah. So to this date, I've ended up becoming profitable, but it wasn't day trading. It was more long-term swing trading investing. So happy about that. But there was years of struggle to get back to even and then become profitable, because you don't gain back $60,000 lightly. I'll say that. The stock market was a great learning experience for me. I don't smoke, and I lost on Mary Jane stocks, but made a ton on Etsy, Shopify, and Apple. So now I only invest in those things. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, the Mary J stocks, man, those were, gosh, booming. Things like Buds and what was the other? Tilray? Is Tilray one? I mean, gosh, some of those things were just crazy moves. Same as the blockchain Bitcoin stocks. Crazy moves. They're still having crazy moves. What other hustles have going on, or is Pokemon primarily focused? Yeah, Pokemon's the only real side hustle I have going on anymore. Like YouTube, obviously, it takes a lot of my time. Other than that, no, it's just my job. Just my job. I'm in sales, and then Pokemon and YouTube type stuff. That's all I got. Everything else, man, like I said, I got a life. I got a life too. I got hobbies I like to do. I'll play men's league hockey, play golf, hang out with my wife. We like to do things with our friends. I got other things to do. I can't like spend all my time doing one thing. I go crazy. I got to have variety in my. I'm one of those people that likes variety. Let's see. Don, I really appreciate it, man. Thanks for the advice and content. By far becoming my favorite realist YouTuber on the subject. Dude, I really appreciate that. I try my best to be as realistic as possible. I know some people think that, I overinflate things and make it seem more bullish than it is, but I guess it's just I believe in this stuff. I've seen it work for 8 years. I've seen ups and downs. I've seen, people I've just seen so many different markets. And if one thing remains constant, it's the sealed product continues to gain over time. It has times of ups and downs, and I keep seeing it over and over and over, and I just don't see a world where it doesn't happen. And like I talked about, even when I came back in the hobby 15 years after the fact, right? I left around 2001 when I was a kid, came back 14 years later. The fact that all those boxes from when I was a kid, base that jungle fossil, all these boxes were $300, $500, $800, meaning, yeah, it wasn't the gains we see now, but they had already gained hundreds of percent in that 14, 15-year period. Hundreds of percent in 14 years. That's as good or better than the S&P and mutual funds, even with compounding interest. You can expect with compounding interest to make about double your money, 100% of your money in 7 years on the S&P or mutual funds. Pokemon still did that even in the dead period. The worst time in the hobby, we're told, it still did that with sealed product. When you see those statistics, how can you be negative on it? I don't know. And now we're more popular than ever. Now we're more worldwide. We have other languages constantly coming in. More people from all across the world, getting it. We have another generation. We have us continually getting older and having more money to spend on it. We're not spending as much money on old artwork or antiques and things like that. We're putting it into Pokemon and video games and now even VHS tapes and everything we remember as kids. I don't see the negatives. Like, I know all the negative conversations. I know what all the Pokemon bears believe. I just don't agree with them. I don't agree. Let's see what we got. Talking about failures. I came back to the hobby between Evolving Skies and Celebrations. I decided Celebrations is a better move. It has made a good move. I have some Evolving Skies, but it's not as much. Hey, I'm the same way. I have way more Celebrations. I got it wrong, but that's not a failure. Look, you can't. Don't be look at the grass is always greener on the other side. Anytime that you're beating out traditional investments and you're making 20, 30, 40, 50% gains in a year, that's a win. Just because you could have made more somewhere else, you can't worry about what everyone else is doing. That's like driving up to a stoplight and saying, wow, that guy's got a better car than me. Or driving to a nicer neighborhood and saying, wow, they have a better house than me. That guy's got a better job than me. That guy, you can play that game forever, but you just need to stay in your lane, be happy with the gains you made, and don't consider that's not a failure. Making 80% in a year and a half or so, that's not a failure, man. I promise you. That's not a failure by any means. Stretch of the imaginations. Legendary Collection booster box is the most desired purchase. Those firework hollows are insane. What's your most desired personal buy? Yeah, I agree. Those. What's funny is no one liked those back in the day, and now they're the most sought after, which is crazy, which gives you an idea of, trying to make speculation in the market. There's things right now that aren't desired, but maybe. Just food for thought. My most desired purchase in the hobby, if I could buy anything, what would it be? I really like the Neo Shinings. I mean, as you know, I have a lot of Shining Legends cards. Like, I like those Shining Pokemon. So I like the Shining Gyarados, the Shining Magikarp, and the Shinings from Neo Destiny as well. The Charizard, obviously, the Raichu, and some of those other Shining cards. So I really like those. Like, if I wanted to buy something and didn't care about the investment value, or didn't care about the price tag, I really like those cards. As far as sealed product wise, Legendary Collection is up there. I mean, just even the box in general is awesome. The artwork, all the pack artworks are incredible. Really do like that. I would say if I could not have sold everything, I really would love to have a Flash Fire box, a Phantom Forces box, like those sets. Hard to think about. I don't think about that stuff as much because it's like one of those things. If money wasn't an issue, money is an issue, right? So it's like, I don't even really check up the market on that stuff because I know that I'm not going to pour that much money into a single card or a single box. So I don't really look at it as much. Here behind me, here, I bought this case recently. I bought a case of Magic the Gathering Ultimate Masters booster boxes. Why did I buy that? One, the whole Rudy era of the Ultimate Bastards Bingo, all those pack openings, I love that. It was so fun to watch, and it's like nostalgic for me. And so I've always wanted to have one of those in my collection, my seal collection. And what I was able to do was I was able to buy a case, well under market value. And so I think I'm going to be able to sell. I might hold them for a little bit, but I think I'm going to be able to sell the other boxes and or the other box and make enough profit to be able to offset the cost of this, where I might not be able to like totally pay for it to make it zero, but I'll be so far ahead on the one that I keep that it'll basically be hard to ever lose money on it. And I'll be happy with that. I'll be able to have that in my collection, know that I'm always going to be ahead on it. There's very little risk on it. And so that's one of the things I bought for my collection recently. You know, some of the XY stuff, like there's stuff I'm buying for my collection. What I try to do with that stuff, I try to buy multiples. Like I'll try to buy, 3 or 5 of the card. And that way I can sell the copies, make profits, and I can keep the one card I want for free. Or I'll just try to buy it in an auction well under market value. And that way I have like a built-in margin on it. So I don't have to worry about like, losing money type stuff. So that's kind of what I do. But I can't, the shining cards. I really like the shining cards. Let's see. Andrew Dicker. If I truly enjoy Pokemon and Pokemon cards, should I start a YouTube channel? I've always felt discouraged with how many other people are out there, but getting involved in these communities makes me want to. Hey, now is the best time. I know it sounds crazy, but every time I look around, there's another channel up. And every time they have like 1, 2, 3, 4,000 subscribers. It seems like the community just wants more content. Like people are constantly looking for more content to consume. And each of us can only put out so much content, right? I mean, you'll get burned out. I mean, there's only so many, and everyone else, even you're going to have a different take than I am and someone else is going to have. So it's saturated, but it's not oversaturated. I think there's always room for other channels in this hobby. And if you think you can, provide a spin that other people don't have, go for it. Yeah, definitely take a chance on your own channel. Hey, it's risk-free. You're just spending your time, right? It doesn't cost any money. I mean, maybe if you want to get a webcam, you don't have one, or you need a microphone, I started out with my webcam mic though. I got trashed for it, but I still get trashed for a microphone. What am I talking about? But it's a risk-free venture. Might as well try it, see what happens. See if you like it. Maybe you don't even like it, so you might as well try. It's always worth it to try. Collectible accounting, what's up? Another good thing about starting a Pokemon business for stock market is you have more control over taxes. Exactly. I mean, people really, they really miss that, right? They really miss the fact that there's so many write-offs. Not financial advice, not tax advice, but everything around you becomes a write-off of your profits, right? So if I want to buy a new computer, write-off. Right? If I want to buy a printer, write off, right? I got to have a printer to print my shipping labels, right? Microphone, got to have a microphone to do YouTube, write off. Webcam, write off. I mean, it's exponential, right? I mean, drive to the post office, that's a write off. Shipping materials, that's a write off. I know people. Collectibles accounting Speaking of that, I actually need to talk to him later today because I have some questions for him. But I think people are even writing off their Collecticon tickets and their Collecticon stuff because, hey, it's a write-off. I'm going to promote my brand or to sell my products or whatever it may be. Even that could be a write-off. It's crazy, right? It's crazy what you can make a write-off in businesses as long as you can prove it was for your business and it was a business expense. So consult a tax professional. None of that stuff I said might work for you. I don't know. I'm gonna throw that out there. Oh, and also obviously a reseller permit. That's huge, right? Because if you're paying taxes, it's really hard to make margins on this stuff if you're reselling it. Getting a reseller's permit, you don't even have to be a business, right? I mean, technically, just sole proprietorship, whatever it costs in your state, really cheap. File for a tax ID, get a reseller's permit. It's all free. You can get an EIN for a tax number with the IRS, free. All this stuff is free, maybe small fees, like $10, $20, $50 fees. That's it. You can get all this stuff. And if you're buying enough product, it's all going to be paid for immediately with all the money you're going to save in sales taxes. So that's the one thing I will say. look into getting a seller's permit or reseller permit. It'll help you so much. I mean, with me, even my local card shop accepts it. So I can literally go to my local card shop and buy product right off the shelf in person, buy cards in person, and pay no taxes because I'm buying them to resell at some point in the future. So yeah, definitely look into that. Danny, can you explain what bull market means? I'm new to investing. Okay, yeah, Danny. So basically, I don't know where it got started. It got started in the stock market world. A bull market means the market you're expecting the market to go up. A bear market means it's going down. There's been things explained to me of why it's like, because bulls, when they attack up. They hit their horns up, and so they're upward, attackers. And then bears, I guess, attack down on you. They claw down, so they're downward attackers. And so if you're bearish on the market, you think the market's going to go down. If you're bullish, you think the market's going to go up. That's all that means. So basically, bullish is positive, bearish is negative. Real Tech Geek, here we go. Reserved investments. He's bearish, we would say. Feels the opposite of you, of course, and that just like comics, it's going to collapse. Okay. I know this. I know Sean feels very different about these things than I do. He's very on the mindset of comparing it to other hobbies, other collectibles of the past, and things like that. So the only thing I can say to that is a comic has it's kind of like a PSA card. It's so final, right? The comic, all you can do is read it. You can display it on a shelf. With sealed product, I just feel differently because, yeah, you can display it, but you can also open it. You can also enjoy it. You can have fun. Also, Pokemon's the biggest media franchise. It's got so much more of a following, even than comics. I know, even than Marvel, even than DC, Pokemon's bigger. Not only that, I didn't grow up reading comic books. I never read a single comic book. I'm 33 years old. Before my time. Don't care about comics. I have no desire to ever collect a comic book. Okay? I grew up with cards and video games. I have desires for those. The kids nowadays, every single one of my friends with kids, I have many, all of their kids are into Pokemon in some way, shape, or form. All of them. Pokemon is 2 generations deep. So unless all of those kids none of them are going to want Pokemon cards in the future, then I guess I'll be wrong. But there's just so much more popularity and so much, there's 2 generations, if not even like people like Gary and the adults that collected back when we were kids. There's basically 3 generations in Pokemon now, where I don't think there were ever 3 generations in comic books, right? The parents of the kids who collected comic books back in the 70s and 80s, they didn't care about comics. They were just buying them for their kids. So comic books really had a smaller market, a smaller moment in time, right? Because it was done by the 90s. When I was a kid, comic books weren't a thing. I was collecting cards, sports cards, Pokemon cards. We were playing video games, Pogs, Beanie Babies, all that type of stuff. No comic books. So that's why I have differing opinions of Sean, is because I see a much different future because of the popularity in this hobby, because of the multi-generational, because Pokemon's got so many different aspects. They got the games, they got the cards, they have the show. There's a lot that keeps this hobby rolling, and it's still growing. More and more people in the world are continuing to come into this hobby. The richer people in this hobby get, like the more wealthy we get from our jobs, we're not going to put that money into things of the past. Like, not many of us really care about watches, right? We don't really care about Van Goghs or all those fancy artworks. We don't really care about antiques. Some people still care about collectible coins and currency, not as many. Our money, when we get older, when we want to buy we're going to spend money on things we like. Pokemon cards, video games. That's what the ultra wealthy and the celebrities and things, you already see it. You already saw the celebrities talking about it. You see NFL players talking about Pokemon cards. I mean, you have people, I saw this, you have people calling into Dave Ramsey now, asking about investing into Pokemon cards. It's wild. And to think that's all going to just somehow disappear and die within 1 generation when it's already 3 generations deep, I don't see it. I just don't see it. That was a really long-winded answer. I've reached out to Sean before to come on for a debate, and I haven't got a response. So like, I'd love to talk to Sean about it, but I've never had an opportunity. What do we got? Hot take here. I actually don't love the 151 product branding. I feel like a missed opportunity. It looks like it's confetti cake to me. It does look like that. Mew Basic, in my opinion. I wish they'd have gone nostalgic red, blue, green, yellow. Oh, man, that would have been awesome. I agree. That would have been much better. I'm with you on that. I guess when you put it that way, I'm not the biggest fan of the confetti type art with the snore. I don't understand why it's Snorlax. Don't get that. Yeah, but I guess they already used Mewtwo. I mean, I don't know. I would agree with that. I agree with the product. The set I think is great. The product, I get it. Yeah, absolutely. Show Andrew the support, man. Make a channel. Be sure to let me know when you do. I'll be happy to share your channel with everybody. Yeah, Brett, all you need is an iPhone and hit record. That's absolutely all you need. I still do that. That's what I do in my video when I have my my background or in my display room. I just hit record on my phone. Spectacle Dev. Do you see yourself having an I'm out moment when you stop playing the game and just retire on a beach somewhere? I have a number in mind myself, and I'm having fun in these markets, so not sure. I already went through that moment. I already went through that, right? I sold almost everything I had, like 90+% of everything I owned during the 2020, 2021 boom. I mean, I already had that moment. I mean, I sold literally over $300,000 worth of product in that year. So, now it wasn't like enough to retire, live on a beach, but yeah, I've talked about it before. Like, I left the hobby for like probably almost a good year. I was very scared. I thought it was over. Because of my experience in the stock market, I've seen booms and busts. I've seen so many companies boom and bust. I've seen companies, their stock go to $100 and then back down to $1, literally. I mean, within a matter of months. So I've seen booms and busts. I thought Pokemon was going to get destroyed after that boom. That's why I sold into it. That's why I sold out of pretty much everything. The only things I kept were like collectible pieces. I kept my displays, right? My sealed game or my Game Boy games. I kept my sets, my binder sets. I kept some of like my collection pieces, but I sold pretty much everything of value. And that was the I'm out. Nowadays, after seeing that and seeing how strong it was, I don't have an I'm out anymore. Even if Pokemon goes through another run, I've seen it boom and bust now, and I've seen it stabilize and recover. And so I would think it's going to do it again. So if it does boom again, I'll probably sell a lot of my inventory, but no, I won't be out. I'll never leave the hobby again now. Now that I've seen that, it's just now that I know Pokemon's strong enough to survive a bust like that. Because here's the reason. Here's the reason why I didn't think it was going to survive. For every seller, there's a buyer, right? So every person that all of us sold to on the way up, they all got crushed. The people buying $7,000 Charizards for PSA 9 base set Charizards, the people like when I sold my WotC boxes, I was selling those boxes for high teens and $20,000 when I literally bought them for $2, $3, and $4 and $5 grand not too long before, like a year, 2 years before. Those people got crushed because now they're all back in like the low teens. Some are like, I think base set 2 might be selling under 10,000. They got crushed. And when people get crushed like that, usually it leaves a bad taste in their mouth. I knew this was a get rich quick scheme. I'm never doing this again. I knew I should listen to my parents. You can't make money in Pokemon. And I thought it was just going to destroy the hobby and there was going to be no one was ever going to trust it again. But I was wrong. And after seeing that, I don't think there's anything that's going to destroy the hobby after that bust. That's my personal opinion. Andrew Dicker, do you know what you need to do to be considered a business? I'm guessing it's state dependent. Pretty easy. Whether you want to be a sole proprietor or LLC, you can get that filed. on your state's website, or you can just go to a accountant. They can help you out. So LLC or sole proprietorship, get your tax ID and reseller permit. All can be done with accountant or on your own on state website. You can find all those forms. You just fill out the forms. Some states have fees, some don't. And then you may have like a local, like your city or your county might need a business license. Not everyone does. And then you can get on the IRS and get a tax identification number, an EIN. That's pretty much everything right there. You're a business. You can take that info, go to the bank, give them your EIN, give them your business license. You can open up an account under your business name, so you can actually collect payments under that name. That's pretty much it. That's a business. Like that is it. That's as easy as it is. It's not some hard thing to do. You can literally have a business created basically today. I mean, you'll have to wait for the forms to get filed and things like that, but you can. In Missouri, I can get a business license. I can get my IRS EIN, and I can take those up to create a business account all in one day. I could have a legitimate business in one day. It takes time for me to go to my city and get that approved. And it takes time to get your tax ID and your reseller permit approved. That's usually like maybe 2 weeks, a month, maybe more out, depending on where you live. But as far as being like a legitimate business, very quick. No big deal. Oregon, hey, I saw you just signed up for channel membership. Thanks a lot, man. Really enjoying the content of your channel, Alex. I started investing in sealed product back in December. To me, it feels like an investment and hobby rolled into one. Looking forward to your next box break. Absolutely. It is everything rolled into one. It's an investment. You can flip things to make money. It's a collecting. It's a gamble and entertainment to open boxes and have fun. Pokemon truly has it all. That's why we all love it so much. Collectible accounting. Yeah, especially if you have a table, you can use it as a deduction. But there can be arguments if you are, never mind. I thought you meant like a table. Table at Collecticon. Arguments if you are going to promote your brand, it's marketing. That's what I'd argue. Okay, that makes sense. Do you need an LLC to be considered a business? Absolutely not. No, you can be a sole proprietorship. You can operate under your name if you want. You don't have to have an LLC. Truthfully, people will say like start an LLC because it protects you. Realistically, LLCs don't have that much protection anymore. You really need to get like an S Corp or something and actually corporate to really separate yourself from the business. A lot of the times, with a good lawyer, someone can really come after you personally and your personal assets, even under an LLC, if they really want to come after you. So, but honestly, in this type of thing, there's not much to worry about. Like selling on eBay, selling at a Collecticon, or selling through a personal site. There's not much here to really worry about in terms of like liability. You can get liability insurance, but it's not. This isn't that type of business to worry about those things that much. Like getting an LLC, or it's really just taxes. The reason to get an S Corp over like an LLC or sole proprietorship is really if you start making enough. There's a lot of tax advantages, but if you're flipping cards and making like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a year, the way it was explained to me, at least, there really isn't that much reason to do it to like go past a sole proprietorship or LLC. Let's see what we got. So Don's saying, sole proprietary is the best way to start a small scale. LLC is good if you want to separate the business from personal. Yeah, like technically it separates you, but the way it was explained to me is like people still can come after you with an LLC somehow. I don't know how it works, but yeah, it's basically if you're a single member LLC, a lot of stuff is still tied to you in some way, shape, or form. Marco, how concerned would you be with your investments if Nintendo releases a crappy console after Switch? It doesn't bother me. Do you think it's going to like affect the Pokemon cards? Look, Nintendo's always, they're definitely going to release something crazy, I'm sure. What do we have? They changed up the game with the controllers when they went to N64. Then they went to the real little discs with GameCube. And then they went to the, motion controllers with Wii. And now they went to Switch where you can take it off like a Game Boy. I mean, they're always going to be innovating and trying something new. I think they've got a niche with the kids and the more family-friendly content and games that they're never going to like get hurt too bad, because a lot of people just won't go Xbox and PS route just because they know there's a lot of those more violent games, the one-person shooters and things like Grand Theft Auto and those types of things. There's a whole slew of parents out there that are always going to buy the Nintendo system because they know they're going to be able to buy those kid-friendly games, the Marios, the Sonics, all those type Pokemon, all the type of games where they don't have to worry about it. They can let their kids play it and they don't have to worry about all that type of stuff. And then, honestly, even like for me, there's more games for Nintendo. Like when you look at it, like there's Mario Kart, there's Super Smash Bros, there's Mario Parties, there's all these like games where you can have friends over and you can all play and have a good time. And I feel like the PlayStation and Xbox are more for like hardcore gamers. They have the the more the storyline types games, the one-person shooters where you're really going to play by yourself. You're going to play online. I think Nintendo has their own niche carved out where I can't see them having a bomb system. They have enough customers. My opinion. Great response. I collect Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, and comics. I love talk to Sean also. I'm a student of history and have a degree in it. Yeah, I mean, hey, Sean's a bright guy. Here's the thing. Sean bases his opinions off history, off research. I can't say the guy doesn't have knowledge and doesn't do his research. Two people can literally get handed the same evidence, the same research, the same reading material. They can watch all the same videos, and then they can come together and have two polar opposite opinions on it. That's life. That's life. And that's why this hobby's so fun. That's why you can make money in markets, because not everyone thinks the same way, right? If everyone thought the same way, then every single card that everyone liked would be worth a lot of money. Every other card would be worth nothing, and everyone would agree on everything. That's why we have all these, fluctuations, because people change their minds. People don't agree. So yeah, I get it. Sean's nothing against Sean as a person. I just don't agree with his takes. That's all. That is all this is. Nothing, no hate. And no hate towards anyone else in the community. I always get branded as someone that's like divisive or causing hate. Look, I have my opinions. Other people have theirs. I'm willing to debate those. Just because I debate those opinions, and it doesn't mean I hate anyone. I'm just presenting my side of the story. It doesn't mesh with with some other people's, and that is what it is. No big deal. Go home at the end of the day, happy. Keep doing our own things. One of us will be right. One of us will be wrong. Hope it's not me, right? Let's see. What do you think will create a new boom? Is it economy related? Is it entirely down the TCG products, or is it a franchise as a whole? Anime games gaining popularity. Honestly, it could be all these new countries, right? Because most countries in the world, they do like speak English. They teach English, like a lot of the countries. It's at least like a second language or something. And so, China, Korea, all these, new areas of the world that are getting into Pokemon. If all of that kind of ends up shifting back to English at some point instead of Japanese, that could cause a new boom. Like that, those are huge populations that could end up causing a boom in prices the way we're seeing in Japan. Like that could happen here again. Another thing, if it ever starts blowing up again, if there's a new, maybe Pokemon releases a new anniversary set, or the celebrities start to get back into it, Logan Paul, something like that happens again, it gets promoted, another Pokemon Go game comes out where the whole world gets involved. If anyone wasn't around in 2015, 16, Pokemon Go was huge. All right. Even though the cards didn't blow up the way they did during the 2020 boom, it was gigantic. It was massive. It was worldwide. The news articles were talking about it. Nintendo stock skyrocketed. It was crazy. And so there's a lot of things that could happen. But here's the thing. I don't think we need that to happen for the hobby to continue to be successful. Before 2020, people say nothing was moving. Things were moving. Things were still moving. A lot of early XY was moving. People say it wasn't moving, but it's they take examples like, well, Evolutions wasn't moving. Okay, so Evolutions wasn't moving from 16 to 18. So what? That's 2 years. But like Flashfire was 350 a box before the boom. So Flashfire released in 14 or 15 had already went up 250% before the boom in 4 years, 5 years. That's not bad considering the stock market returns you about 100% every 7 years, right? XY Base, Phantom Forces, those sets were going out of print. They had already started to move up. So like things move, sealed product will consistently move up steadily, even without a boom, in my opinion. We're seeing it right now, right? Darkness Blaze is moving. Rebel Clash is moving. Like lackluster sets are moving. Sun and Moon's moving. Crimson Invasion starting to move. Steam Siege and Fates Collide, they're moving. We're seeing movement in the market, even though there's no boom right now. Even some people say it's a down market. Well, other parts of the market are moving. When some other parts are down, some are moving. It's all over the place. You never know where things are going to move, but it'd be nice to have another boom. There are definitely things that could create another boom, but it's not necessary for the hobby to survive and do well long term, in my opinion. Let me take a few more here. I know we've been going, 2.5 hours? I don't even know how I've been talking that long. Thanks to everyone for sticking around. 112 people in here. Really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone for sticking around for the live. I love doing these. I love hearing everyone else's chats back and forth and what your questions are, kind of what you're looking at in the hobby. I get a ton out of this too. So thanks for being here, everyone. Collectible Accounting says generally depends, obviously, but I recommend looking into a corp once you are profiting about 20,000, but it depends where you live and other factors. Yeah, okay, it kind of goes what I was saying. So he says about 20,000. Yeah, so once you move into like an S corp or a corporation, you can do a lot of different things. You can you can issue stock to yourself, based on the company's value. You can pay yourself like a salary and then keep other profits in the business to like help with tax purposes. A lot of different things you can do. Collectible Accounting knows more about that than I do. Yeah, like if you're just kind of just flipping a few things here and there, you're just wanting to get like tax exempt status, where you just want to buy stuff off without taxes, you could probably stick with like a regular LLC or sole proprietorship though. Between investing in a day job and YouTube, how many hours a week do you work? Any days a week that you would take off completely? So luckily my job, I don't work even 40 hours. So I'm in sales and I run appointments and I'm paid on commission. And luckily it's the commission in the home improvement, construction, sales industry, very high. And so I'm able to work. So put it this way. Basically I work probably about 25 to 30 hours a week. That's it. That's how I'm able to do this live stream during the day. I didn't have a day appointment today. So I don't work 40 hours plus a week. And so when you take in my job and then you take into account YouTube and Pokemon, yeah, it probably gets over 40, probably in the 40s. I would say I work a week, which isn't a ton. I mean, if you think about it, that's not a ton of hours. There's a lot of hours left in the day. It's not too crazy. Crucial. More people should have your mindset. Just because you have a different opinion doesn't mean I hate you. Exactly. Why is it like that in this world? It's crazy, right? I mean, like, I'm not going to get into that, pull out that whole can of worms, but yeah, it is crazy how differing opinions end up like hate. I'm investing $15K into Steam Siege. Thanks. No problem, man. You go do that. You know what's funny? If you would have done that at the beginning of the year, you'd probably be double your money right now, which is absolutely insane. Steam Siege. Let's see. Free packs for everyone here. I don't have any packs to give, man. Everything's sealed up. When's the next box break and what are we breaking? Probably sometime middle of the month or later this month. I'm gonna do it. Haven't decided yet. I'll put a poll out and ask everyone. If anyone here gets involved in the box breaks or likes box breaks, leave in the chat right now. What do you want to see? You guys want to go back to XY? You want to see some XY stuff open? You want to stay Sun and Moon like we've been doing? You want to see some like Sword and Shield stuff? Want me to like go to more of the modern stuff to keep it cheaper so it's not such expensive of packs we can go to like more of the, like the Sword and Shield stuff or Scarlet and Violet, so you can get like more for your money, more chances. I don't know. I'm open to anything. I'm definitely open to doing anything anyone wants. I don't have a preference. I've just been I've been trying to identify sets that have the most amount of value hit wise for the cost of the pack. Because I don't want to open something like, Sword and Shield base where you can't really pull anything, or like Darkness Blaze where like even the best hit isn't really worth it. I mean, I was just looking for stuff like Cosmic Eclipse and Fusion Strike and Unbroken Bonds and Crown Zenith and Paldea, even when it first came out. Like, there's a lot of value in those sets. Open a Call of Legends booster box. I mean, if the interest is there, I'll buy it from you, man. If the interest is there, I'm not against it. Free packs from XY. I don't got them to give. I don't have them to give. Your biggest YouTuber inspiration. Who inspired you to want to create your own channel? You already mentioned Rudy. Rudy's the big one. I mean, Rudy's the big one. And then I wouldn't say an inspiration. It's just like when I was watching all the Pokemon channels, like I guess SM Pratt. I'll say SM Pratt too. Definitely back in the day, SM Pratt. But like even SM Pratt, he created E4, and then E4 just became. I mean, I don't like E4. I don't like the echo chamber in there. And then just like a lot of the Pokemon investing channels at the time, right? Like, I'm not gonna go name. You know who I'm talking about. There was a lot of bearishness in the community. There was a lot of bearishness, and there was a lot of kind of talking about the great plays you've made, the great collections you have. There was a lot of kind of hate put on Modern, right? There was a lot, and I had so much success in Modern. Like, there was a lot of hate that was surrounding around Modern. Modern was kind of consensusly seen as more of like entry level, more of like, kind of skin deep. Once you dive into the hobby more and you get more experience, then you'll find vintage and mid-era. Then you'll know about trophy cards and all these different things. And I'm thinking to myself, well, man, I made 50 grand on evolution cases. I made, $10,000 on, like Shining Legends and, God, what else? What else I have a lot of? Shining Legends and Burning Shadows and Evolutions I had the most of. But like I made multiple thousands of dollars off a lot of Modern product before I got out. And so to listen to all these channels talk about, how Modern seal collectors are just like stonkers, or like, wanting to buy lottery tickets. They're all this stuff. And, vintage is the safe, secure thing. And I was seeing all this, and I couldn't find any channels like talking about Modern product and about Modern investing, very in depth or very positively. So that was kind of my biggest inspiration for creating this channel. Also, a lot of the Pokemon investing content was long form. It was like, long form live streams, long form content. And I noticed that a lot of like the pack opening stuff was short form, right? Like a lot of it was get to the point. So I wanted to kind of create a Pokemon investing channel where I could get straight to the point. I could make points about a Pokemon investing and Modern investing in like, 10, 15 minute segments to where people could easily digest it. And you didn't have to watch, a 2.5 hour live stream like we have right now to get all this stuff out of it. I think there's a place for these. I love this, but even like, what Radar's doing right now. He came back to the hobby. He's having live streams, but now he's cutting them up into little segments to where they're easy digestible, like 5-minute segment videos where you can go get the point real quick of what the video is about. And you don't have to watch 3 or 2 hours of content to get that. So those were kind of all my reasons why I created a channel. I thought I could, bring something to it. And I think it's ended up pretty good so far. I mean, it's pretty much I've got out of it, what I wanted to. What else we got? Last couple questions. Anything but Silver Tempest. That's funny. What's the one sale that comes to mind first when thinking about making the most profit in one item? Oh, by far my WotC booster boxes. So I had every WotC booster box from base set through Gym Challenge. Everything was first edition besides base set. So I had a base set unlimited. Obviously, base set 2 they don't have a first edition print, but then I had a Jungle Fossil, Rocket, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge, all sealed. So I had all those booster boxes, and I made that one sale to Troll and Toad back in the day. It was a 6-figure sale. But I guess the base set booster box was what I made the most off. I bought it for $2,000 and sold it for $22,500. So back then I sold that box for $22,500. And funny enough, that wasn't even the top. I missed the top. I always talk about you're not going to hit the tops. The top of the market, I'm pretty sure there was a confirmed sale for $30,000. If not, you're going to love this. I had Rusty, TCA Gaming, actually agree to buy it at $25,000 at one point. I reached out to him and I was trying to work a deal with him for a bunch of different boxes, and he valued it at $25 at that time, and he said I can only leave this open for 24 hours after that because the market was going so crazy, and I wasn't ready to sell. So the market went up and it went down. I sold when it was coming down. Right when it was coming down, that's when I got in my boxes. I actually missed the tops. But I missed that. I could have sold it for more. And so, but that was still my best, I would say my best box play. 2000. I had other cards. So if I look back, I had some of the, some of the Black Star promos from WotC. I had some of my first edition WotC Hollows that I actually graded myself. I opened from Fossil and Jungle booster boxes myself and graded them. And so if you take into account like that and how much price, like the PSA 10s, what I sold those for, the percentage wise, I made over, 1,000% gain on some of those cards. So technically, like maybe like the Fossil Dragonite or like the Lapras, or maybe like some of the Jungle cards were technically more percentage plays. But the most money I made in a single item was definitely the base set booster box. And then it would probably have been, would have been like first edition Gym Challenge, I think. So those were kind of the biggest hits I had. But like, I never got into Neo or Mid-Era. I missed it all. I didn't get into Skyridge, Aquapla. I didn't get into any of that stuff. I was so focused on WotC first gen. And I thought this was going to be it. Everyone was eventually going to come back to WotC first gen. And then me and a friend of mine made a huge play on evolutions. I got up to 10 evolutions cases, which technically that was a higher percentage. I started selling. So I bought into evolutions in the $85 to $90 box range, up to probably $95 a box. And I was selling those from 700s all the way up to $1,000 a box during the boom. So those were kind of just as much percentage plays as my WotC boxes were, but they were just a lot less, per box. Like I was making $900 or something, $700 to $900 per box. So yeah, those are some crazy plays. I don't have any gigantic hits like you're going to see some of these guys. I don't have, I didn't have like a first edition, Neo Lugia. I didn't have a Crystal Charizard. I didn't have a Gold Star. I didn't have a first edition base box or first edition base Charizard. I did have first edition base Charizards. So, sorry, I'm not trying to like pump, brag on myself. I'm just telling you what I had. When I first came back in the hobby, my same card shop, which they moved locations, but it's the same place. They had 2 first edition Charizards in the glass case, and I was talking. They had them there forever, and they were listed at $650 and $700, or $750 and $800, one of those two, raw. And I bought those. And they graded a 6 and a 7. And I sold those prior to the big moves. I made some money on them, but nothing like that. But I never had like a PSA 9, PSA 10 first edition Charizard, nothing like that. Nothing major. So those are my biggest, coolest stuff. Some other cool stuff, like I had a Pokemon demo pack. It's like this blue pack. There's no hits in it. It was just given out to stores. It's like a demo. It's like a pretty cool sealed item. Some of the cooler sealed items I had were like, I had all the Black Triangle booster packs. So I had a Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur Black Triangle booster packs, where those I bought for like $900 for all 3. And then during the boom, like I sold them for over $1,000 a pack, which is pretty cool. Like little stuff like that. Nothing major. Like I said, I wasn't a whale. I was not a whale. made a little bit of money. For me, for like where I grew up, for like myself, it was a ton of money. But then you listen to some of these guys in the hobby, and it just makes me look like nothing. So everything's relative. Everything's relative. All right, guys. I appreciate everyone sticking with me for all this time today. I hope you guys got something out of it. Thanks for showing up to the live, and thanks for supporting the channel. Like the video if you haven't. If you're not subscribed to the channel, really appreciate you subscribing. Last one I'm going to take, Zachy. I have a complete WotC Black Star promo set. I love these cards because all the creative ways they were released. So much history. Yeah, that was the last one. I had a complete Black Star promo set before we leave. Had a complete binder set. I had the 40 and 41, the Pokemon Center and Lucky Stadium sealed. It was still sealed. I ended up grading those kind of when things started to boom. Graded those. They both got 10s and ended up selling those. And then I ended up, I tried to find raw ones to replace my collection. I never could. So I ended up selling the rest of the collection as like a without those two cards type thing. But yeah, I love that set. Still love it to this day. But it was one of those things that I paid like a couple $100 for the set. And then when everything went crazy, it was worth thousands. And I'm just like, stupid not to sell it. Same type of thing. But other than that, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Hope you guys continue to make good plays. Again, just like the beginning of this video, the plays are out there. If you can find raw cards, the PSA 9 copy is worth more than the graded fee and the raw and the 10's a home run. Take the play. I mean, they're all over the place. And then, as sealed product goes, a lot of opportunity in Sword and Shield. Scarlet Violet base, and Paldea. I think they're gonna get slept on a little too long. We'll see. And just keep enjoying the hobby. Keep being a collector, investor. Enjoy the Pokemon hobby. Be back here in another video soon, guys. I'm out.